time in the NL, the last place Phillies have fired manager Rob Thompson after a 9-19 start to the season. Bench coach Don Mattingly has been named interim manager through the end of the year. The news came just a day after the Red Sox fired manager Alex Cora and 4 other coaches. According to USA Today's Bob Nightingale, the Phillies offered Cora the managerial job before Mattingly, but Cora declined.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. The Mariners have a problem. No, it's not just that they lost yesterday. Overall, it feels like the club is fine. Cal's heating up. Julio's looking solid. The offense just had a great day. They just swept a team, and I know that they didn't get that win against the Twins, but whatever. Game 2. Onward, upward. Logan Gilbert on the mound. Blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about it later. No. What I want to talk about is Luis Castillo. Bump, there is a Luis Castillo problem for the Mariners right now. And the reason it's a problem is not because Luis is struggling per se. It's because figuring out how to solve that and what to do with Luis is much more complicated than you think. So first, here's what Dan had to say about Luis's start in Cut 1. Dan, post-game, said this.
The big blow was the homer, I think, and that was kind of the tough one. But I was really glad to see him go back out there in the 5th inning and get us that 5th inning. And I think that was an inning that he can really build on from there, and he finished strong.
Added he can make adjustments.
He's a veteran. He knows adjustments that are going to be made and understands that. And I know he continues to work and again his process over his last several ball games. He's been getting ahead in the count and attacking the zone. Tonight just like I said, the big blow, the homer, but he'll make his adjustments.
Yeah, but it wasn't just like one multi-run home run. It was yet another struggling day for Luis Castillo. This time, Luis getting through 7 runs on 7 hits, walked 2, struck out 3, but 2 home runs and probably could have been more runs allowed, frankly. This isn't just like a bad day for Castillo problem. This is a what's up with Castillo this year. He's had one quality start that's looked great against the Yankees earlier this season, and that was kind of it.
His first go-round
start was phenomenal.
Yeah, he looked good, but after that, in the month of, where were we in, April?
Mm-hmm.
8 for now. 8 ERA. Giving up some bombs, bunch of hits. 7 earned one game, 7 earned the next day. He just hasn't been looking like the Luis Castillo that we know. And you've alluded to it. The reason why this is becoming a little awkward is because you have other pitchers, one who's going to get healthy and another one who's been doing his thing down in the minors. So it feels a bit early to try to be in the situation, but it is what it is. You got to look at just the way that he's been performing and start to explore other options, whether that be bullpen. Curtis mentioned a Phantom IL. You mentioned a 6-man rotation. There are some decisions that need to be made because of the way he's performing and the way others have been performing.
Let's talk about those options. The way I see it, now there may be like a 5th, 6th possibility, but I kind of see it as like 4 outcomes for what to do with Luis right now. There are 4 choices you have. And I think that not all of these are equal likelihood. And the ones that I hear most, I think, are actually least likely. So let's start with this. Option number 1, send Luis Castillo to the bullpen. How realistic is that? I don't know. I was listening this morning. Salk and Lyle were having a great back and forth about it with Salk saying, like, Luis's stuff doesn't really play that great coming out of the pen. Like, he kind of gets better as the game goes on, maybe second, maybe the third time through. In addition to massaging the ego of certain guys that are used to being aces, that are used to being the guy that are currently your highest paid arm. Not everyone automatically is just best suited as a bullpen arm. I know in theory you think, oh, great, you have a starter coming out of the pen, but like that doesn't work for everything. How likely or how appetizing does this option feel for you, Bump?
It's more appetizing to me than everyone else, I guess. Because you mentioned he gets better, all right, as you go through the rotation a bit. But there's like a moment in someone's career where things has got to change. And is this moment? I don't know. We'll find out. Smoltz went to the bullpen and balled out. Kerry Wood went to the bullpen and balled out. Lincecum went to the bullpen and was serviceable. This is what happens when guys get older and their stuff ain't hitting the way it used to hit. Me personally, I say, man, send him to the bullpen and have him come out, give you 15, 20 pitches, just throw the heck out of that ball, throw your arm out. Like, just give me 100 every single time. But that's me. I'm a bit reckless. That's the way I think. That would be option one for me. No one's going to – you can't trade for him right now. No one's going to pick up that contract.
Let's get to that one. The second option is trade him. This is the one I see most from people, and I think it's the least likely because it's the most difficult.
Yeah.
Because we tend to do this thing, and this isn't like we people in Seattle. This is we fans of any team have this really classic approach to trading, which is I'm going to trade you something I feel like I don't want or need, and you're going to give me something that you want and need. Right? Like that feels fair. I'm going to give you someone that like isn't of service to me anymore, and you're going to give me an arm or you're going to give me a bat I could really, really use. No, it's going to be incredibly difficult to trade Luis Castillo. His contract is $24 million right now for this season. And Curtis, you were looking at like that potentially escalating. Like that's a big deal to offload onto another team.
Yeah, he's guaranteed salary next year. And then if he hits a 180 innings vesting option in 2027, then his 2028 salary becomes fully guaranteed. So it's about, I mean, if he hits all of his bonuses, which I would imagine he's going to aim for, it depends on, if the Mariners continue to let him pitch like this. But if he somehow turns it around, like you're still looking at about 3 years and $70-some-odd million owed to Luis Castillo. That's not a contract that teams are going to want to just take on their books.
If Luis Castillo was on another team right now, would you trade for him? No. So why would you expect another front office right now to do that?
It's weird how trades work that way, Stacey.
But that's what I'm saying.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
Maybe he starts heating up, and maybe suddenly he looks great, and you can kind of like sell that idea at the deadline. Maybe a contender loses like 3 starters and is just that desperate to have anyone, and I get it. But if you wouldn't trade for Luis Castillo in that contract right now, then this probably feels like the least likely option.
It ain't happening.
It's not happening.
I mean, he could put together 2 or 3 starts. You can throw some fillers out there and see what's going on. But, I don't see that going down.
Let's go to the other option here. This is the third one. Wait. Just wait. See what happens.
Just hope he can figure it out.
Well, I mean, look. You have Dan Wilson saying, like, hey, we'll make some changes. It kind of reminded me, and we've talked about this before with, like, the Felix thing of, like, kind of altering what you do. But, like, you can't suddenly change your arsenal entirely. You can't become a drastically different pitcher. Like, if you're not locating your fastball, I don't know how you fix that. You don't suddenly go entirely off speed. Maybe someone who knows a lot more about baseball than me can answer, like, how someone like Felix was supposed to change or expected to change and whether or not Luis can do the same. But, Bump, I also feel like this is something that, like, I'm kind of leaning towards. Wait.
I think you have to wait and change. He's 33. He ain't changing much right now. It's not going to add a pitch. He is what it is. His velocity is down with his four seam. All of his numbers are down a bit, right? There's something that just isn't there. Is it father time? Is it something going on with his body? Is it mental? I don't know. We'll see. But I think your best bet is to wait. But in waiting, you apply more pressure at the same time because this fan base and the organization and the guys within the organization are going to see what these other young pitchers are doing, and you're going to have to make a decision sooner or later if he continues to perform the way that he's been performing. I think that, look, I'm a sucker for an old head, man. 33 years in the game, 30 years old, been in the game for a while. I'm hoping and I believe they can possibly turn it around.
Yep.
But at some point, you got to do what's best for this team. And it might be going with one of these younger guys. You got Miller who's getting healthy. We keep hearing about Cade Anderson as well. Like, there's some things going on that are applying some pressure on him and the organization.
Fourth option, which is kind of related to this one, frankly, in that you aren't trading him or DFAing or anything like that. IL stint. While you, let's say, add Cade or maybe add Miller back on, while you're figuring out what to do with Luis, but you still want to get your 5 best arms in the rotation. Luis to the IL. Does this feel likely?
It feels like it gives you space. It gives you space to evaluate other arms and to figure out exactly what you want to do. It doesn't give Luis any room to change the way he's being perceived, right? I think that's solidly more likely than getting traded. Right now, it's probably more likely than him getting sent to the bullpen. That's probably what I would lean on. What I think they're going to do. Me personally, I'm all about the pen. I personally.
You want to see him out of the pen?
I want to see him out the pen.
I like the take. What is it that's tempting about it? Is it just the idea of like?
I think that it
long
takes.
reliever.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a good setup guy, mid reliever. I think that him throwing his fastball and his slider, right? He can just let loose. Castillo's the type of guy to where he kind of, like you said, he eases into the game, right? Start my rhythm. I think maybe a shift in mentality, knowing that, okay, I'm going to the pen and I'm coming out, and I just got to get guys out now. There's no setup. I'm just going to throw myself as hard as I can, get these guys out and move on. Maybe just a shift because he is getting older, and this is what some of the better pitchers have done in their career to extend their careers, is go to that bullpen and shift that mentality. I'm more thinking mental game for Castillo. I think it might help.
Okay, so your options, the 4 outcomes for Luis Castillo. Send him to the pen. Bump's intrigued by this one. IL stint while you kind of, add Bryce Miller back. Maybe you call up Cade, whatever it is that you get your 5 best arms, and one of those 5 is not Castillo. He doesn't go to the pen, but you're kind of waiting it out. 3, quite literally wait it out with Castillo still in the rotation. 4, trade him. We've all decided that's the least likely. Curtis, which is the most, either the likeliest or most appetizing option for you of those 4 outcomes for Luis Castillo?
I think the most likely is you see him hit the IL once Bryce Miller is about ready to start again, and that will buy you about 15 days because that's how long pitchers can be on the IL for. So that would buy you 2 weeks to kind of figure out a little bit more what you want to do with Castillo. He doesn't have any options, so it's not like you can send him down. And also, his contract is a contract that no team's going to take on, like we pointed out. So it kind of feels like potentially an IL stint, and then maybe he goes to the pen after that. I just don't think you have your best starting 5 pitchers right now with him in the rotation, whether that means Bryce Miller is that 5th, whether that means Cade Anderson is that 5th, because he has been putting on an absolute show in Double-A right now.
Do you have his numbers right now?
I don't right now, but I know he had just another phenomenal start his last time out for Arkansas. 4 starts, 18 2/3 innings pitched, 30 strikeouts, an ERA of .48. So he's been absolutely ridiculous to start the year for Arkansas. So that's going to be definitely a name to keep in mind. Once the season kind of unfolds a little bit more.
808. It's not rocket science. Once Bryce is healthy, put him on the IL, Dodgers style. It's not rocket science, but I do think it's more complicated than people are giving it credit for. And I think that there are real people you have to keep in mind.
Well, and he's meant so much to the organization over the last half decade. Like, he's been a model citizen. He's been just at times the best pitcher in the rotation. So, yeah, you got to kind of handle this with oven mitts, or else your feelings can get hurt. Not just between Castillo and the Mariners, but maybe other guys in that clubhouse looking at the situation, being like, this guy has given quite literally everything for some of the team's best years.
We're gonna go all Mariners from 1 to 2 at the dugout. Ryan Rowland-Smith is going to be joining us, so Bump and I will certainly ask him about Luis out of the pen, how his stuff plays, whether that's an option. I know Bump is intrigued by it, which kind of makes me intrigued by it, but I think I'm also team number 1, just kind of like wait it out for right now. And then another thing that we're going to ask Ryan, because we've been getting this question a ton, is like, what about more of the changeup, or what about this? Like, what is making tweaks and changes look like when the season's already started for a clearly established veteran pitcher? So that's a question that feels best suited for someone who's done it. We're going to ask Ryan coming up at 1:30. Right now, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, rewrite!
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, contrary to some reports over draft weekend, Rams quarterback Ty Simpson said he did meet with Sean McVay prior to the draft. They just did it in secret. What's the real headline?
Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini should take some notes. In secret.
That's one meeting. I'm sure they had a couple meetings where nobody knew. Where they messed up and they kept going back.
Ty Simpson moved the Rams 6 years ago.
I'm just waiting for the photo to come out. 4 years ago, Diana and Mike at Disneyland. Like, you guys are just out in the open.
This situation is weird, right? Because you get that number 13 pick, the highest pick McVay's ever had. You would think he has influence in this thing. His body language says, it's a whatever pick. Now you're hearing that they met in secret. What is the truth? Maybe Sean McVay really does like Ty Simpson. Maybe he feels like he can run this offense. He can work with him, which is kind of refreshing because it shows that you don't have to be the most physically talented quarterback, obviously, Tom Brady, to be a good quarterback in this league. And if we're going to trust anybody, I've said this before, we're trusting what the Rams do, what Philly does, and what the Hawks have done. Those are the three teams, last 5 to 10 years, you can say, look, for the most part, they're doing this the right way. Mm-hmm. So good for McVay if he got his guy. Good for Ty Simpson for keeping a secret. And look, Matthew Stafford's 38 years old. You're probably going to see Ty Simpson at some point this year.
This is going to be my question for you. I was going to say, A, when could you see Ty? And B, can Matthew Stafford really be that upset by this? When, like it's one thing if, Aaron Rodgers still very much a starter, and I don't remember how old he was when Jordan Love was drafted, but, allegedly had been campaigning for more offensive weapons, and then finally they go offense and it's a quarterback. I kind of understand the frustration and him getting upset. Matthew Stafford, for the past 2 off seasons, has kind of teased retirement to where Sean McVay was doing interviews early in the offseason going, I don't know yet. We'll get an answer from Matt soon. You can't tease out that you might retire to where you're announcing it at NFL Honors and then be shocked when a team goes to get a quarterback.
You got to prepare, man, and that's what this team is doing. Sadiq was sitting there at 13. If the Rams would have grabbed Sadiq,
you would have been heated.
Nightmare. Mekhi Lemon, nightmare. This is a futures pick, and we have a 38-year-old quarterback. You have to look towards the future. I wouldn't have done it, but I can understand why they did it.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2. The Steelers have placed a rare rights of first refusal tender on Aaron Rodgers. They can match any offer sheet he might sign with another team. What's the real headline?
It's going to be super weird when another team's first offer to Aaron is 6 pounds of ayahuasca and a bag of crystals. How do you match that? How do you surpass it?
Chakras.
We'll give you 10. When you're a millionaire like Aaron Rodgers, it's just different kinds of bartering happening here.
Yeah,
we'll give you your own podcast, Aaron.
This is the position that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in. They need Aaron Rodgers. They don't want to start Alar, the young man at Penn State. They don't want to start Will Howard. Even though coming out of Ohio State, I did like Will Howard. But there's a reason why they drafted Alar, right? Something's not complete with Will Howard, and those guys should be able to compete. But no, this is weird. And Aaron loves this because he feels wanted, and that's all he ever wants. That's all anyone ever wants, just to feel wanted. And that's he's getting those vibes now.
Yeah, I can't even make fun of Aaron for that. I think that that's a very standard thing for anyone in any job, especially in a job where you need to have an ego to be successful, is, look, man, to be honest, I don't know what the Steelers season looks like without Aaron. Truly. We're having 2 very different, even Aaron at 42, soon to be 43, we're having 2 very different conversations about their ceiling.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, another managerial fire today in baseball. The Phillies becoming the second team to fire theirs this week, dismissing Robbie Thompson from the job. Don Mattingly will serve as the interim. What's the real headline?
Well, guess it isn't too early anymore. I'm so prepared to continue to have that conversation for the Mariners, and I bet you anything if they lose today, I'm probably going to say it on Thursday. It's it's a little too early, but I don't know. Philly's pretty frustrated with that 9-19 start to the year. Red Sox frustrated with their start to the season. Philly's in last place, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, when you put that much money into your roster, you expect results, and you lean towards the guys who are the leaders, right? Like Toronto, the same thing. The Mets are going through the same thing. We're in a different tax bracket. We're in a tax bracket to where you have to be okay with taking some lumps, some ups, and some downs. When you come in with the expectation to win right now because you've invested, things are going to happen a bit more, going to happen quicker over there. Over here, it's a waiting game. We're trying to decide what we're going to do with Luis Castillo. If Luis Castillo was on the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees, Toronto, man, I mean, the fan base will feel different about it. They'll be a bit more vocal about their whole situation, and maybe they're more likely to make moves. It's a different race over here. Philly put a lot of money into that.
Weird question. Bob Nightingale of USA Today says Cora was offered that Phillies job before Mattingly was named interim, which I know you mentioned. Do we think that they would have fired? Was this like a long gone decision, or did they see Cora fired by the Red Sox and think, oh my God, let's make a move and see if we can get Cora?
I think it's both. I think, go ahead, Curtis.
Yeah, I think the firing was probably in the works for a few days, but then the Cora firing and the opportunity to go get him, that might have been what pushed this over the edge.
What he said, agree. Exactly what I was going to say, 100%.
By the way, last 2 minutes here, we opened the show by talking almost exclusively about Luis Castillo and saying, look, there are kind of 4 outcomes for Castillo right now. Send him to the bullpen, put him on the IL as a Band-Aid while you figure it out, which isn't like a long-term solution, but a temporary one. Trade him, which we thought was the least likely, or keep him in the rotation and just kind of wait it out. 3 of those options involve potentially going to a 6-man rotation, but that wouldn't be something you do immediately. So send him to the pen, IL stint, trade him, wait it out. That's kind of like right now. Those are your choices. We didn't at all talk about anything else to do with this game, but it wasn't just Castillo kind of falling apart with this one. He went through 5. Mariners offense couldn't get quite enough going. How are you feeling overall about the team? One game isn't going to change, feeling solid after a sweep, but what did you think about yesterday's game?
I mean, it just couldn't connect. That's the problem with this team and most teams, honestly. You're not connecting the dots. You're not producing runners in scoring position. Obviously, not too many. I think they're 1 for 4 runners in scoring position. Look, you won 4 games in a row. 5 would have been great. Would have set the record for the season. And the Twins just came out and took advantage of Castillo.
Feeling much better about Cal Star. Hit his 7th home run yesterday.
Cal's looking good. The swing is looking better. He's feeling more comfortable back there. This is what you need. Keep it rolling today.
We were talking about Ty Simpson in our first headline. Someone said, just a thought, Simpson was the plan all along. And McVay was just performing for Stafford.
I've heard that conspiracy, and I could understand that. I think if we forget about the emotional factor in this, I know people want to cut it and make it just black and white, but you are dealing with human beings. You are dealing with a quarterback who won you a Super Bowl, who's going to go into the Hall of Fame. He's been a league MVP. He has an ego, and if you want him to come back and be in good spirits, there's a certain way that you might feel you have to perform to make sure that he's good. What McVay should have done so he didn't have to be so performative, if this is the case, is have a conversation with Matthew Stafford and let him know, hey, we're going to go get a young blood because you're getting long in the tooth. Simple as that.
I actually find it very fitting that 2 of the things we're talking about in the first 25 minutes of our show are how to handle understandable egos when it comes to, and ego doesn't have to be a bad thing, but understandable ego when it comes to longtime veterans. And Matthew Stafford last year was an MVP. Luis Castillo right now is really struggling, but either way, you're talking about some pretty massive changes potentially for either of these guys. How do head coaches, how do managers, how do organizations handle those conversations? Love it. We're going to keep the conversation going, but not just yet, because coming up next, Daniel Jeremiah called the Seahawks draft class, quote, boringly good. He'll explain why next.
Seattle sports, like
JSN,
powering through a secondary.
Breaks a tackle. He's going to go in.
You can't keep us down.
There is a fire alarm.
I'll die for this job. Fire alarm going off. We still in here.
20 minutes later.
We're back in action. I made sure everyone got safely out of the building.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Definitely.
Big thanks to the men and women of the Seattle Fire Department for the quick response. But come on, Wyman, easy on the scented candles next time.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Listen every morning to Brock and Salk for Need to Know, powered by Marquee Data. Marquee IQ brings all your data together into one clear view. Stop running your business on highlights. Get the full picture. Visit datathatwins.com to learn more.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
For those diagnosed with anxiety, depression, or PTSD, Northwest Ketamine Clinics wants you to know there is hope. After only 3 weeks of treatment, 86% of patients report a reduction in symptoms. Northwest Ketamine Clinics was the first ketamine clinic in the Northwest, opened 9 years ago. They now have locations in Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue, with more than 50,000 treatments given. Find reviews and video testimonials from real patients on their website, including Brandon.
To anyone thinking about giving it a try, if you have depression, ADHD, bipolar, any of those things feel like they would vastly benefit from it.
Everyone's path to healing is different. Schedule a free consultation today to find out if ketamine therapy is right for you. They have immediate availability, so you can get started this week. Welcome to the Pacific Northwest's most experienced ketamine center. Book a free phone or video consult at nwketamineclinics.com. Healing starts here.
Compassion, communication, results. That's Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com. That's pendergastlaw.com.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get $1,000 in free survival gear for a limited time. You heard that right. Right now, when you order the powerful Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator from MyPatriotSupply.com, we'll send you over $1,000 in life-saving preparedness supplies, including a 4-week survival food kit, water filtration system, an off-grid cook stove, and much more, absolutely free. This offer won't last long, so get your generator and free survival gear now at MyPatriotSupply.com. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
from the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Daniel Jeremiah on with Brock and Salk this morning to talk about the Seahawks rookie class. He started by calling them boringly good. It's not an insult.
I thought they did well, man. I thought almost it was like boringly good draft for the Seahawks. Like just hitting it just one after another. It just all kind of made sense. It all kind of flowed. They took what was there. I don't think they reached it all. And I thought they got a bunch of guys that can come help. So every year we do this and we talk about the picks you get excited about. I'll be honest with you, like they're going to love Bud Clark, man. Like Bud Clark's going to be outstanding in Seattle.
That reminds me, we're talking about Bud Clark with TCU defensive coordinator Andy Avalos coming up in about 30 minutes. Bump, does boringly good feel like a fitting description for the Seahawks class?
Yeah, boringly good. I would say it was surprisingly better than I thought.
Okay.
And the boring part would be Jadarian Price. It was exciting but boring at the same time because everyone assumed if he was there, they were going to take it. Then it gets exciting with Bud Clark. So perk up like, ooh, Bud Clark. Let's check him out, see what he's about. And then you get a big corner in Julian Neal. You're like, okay, all right, I see what you're doing. I understand the length, the size, the aggressiveness. And then you get to the 5th round and get Bo Stevens. You're like, oh, these dudes are tripping. But Bo Stevens is still out there. So it was better than I expected because you felt like they needed to address the running back room. You needed some help in the secondary. And you would hope they got someone to push this offensive line, and they got exactly that. But the value that they got, Bo Stevens, I didn't expect to be there. Julian Neal was better than I expected. Bud Clark was better than expected. So it's boring because you look at the names, and if you don't really dive into the draft, you're probably not familiar with these dudes. But then you look at the film, and you go, oh, that's a great pick. So it was better than I expected, surprisingly better than I expected. I thought the boring pick was Jadarian Price, even though it is exciting, but we just felt like that was going to happen. Everything else after that had me excited.
Let's talk a bit more about Bud. Here's what Daniel Jeremiah said.
What pick was Bud Clark?
64.
Yeah. Bud Clark was my 58th player. So, I mean, you talk about the speed. He was great. The tape was good. He had an excellent week at the Senior Bowl. He had a ton of plays at the Senior Bowl. And then he ran 4.41. He just was, if he was 205 pounds, I think he goes even higher than that. He might have snuck into the first round. He's got so much production and he's just dripping with instincts. He's a really, really good player.
Can he compete for a starting role right away, Bump?
Yeah. Yes, he can. It's between him and Ty Okada right now. We know J Love is locked up. He's good to go. And Ty Okada is going to have the advantage. He understands this defense. I'm sure when they start the install, there's nothing like when you're on a team and you start the install and you're like, yeah, I already got that. My first year in the NFL install, I'm like locked in. Everything, note on everything. Boom, boom, boom. Second year, I go, yep, I remember that. Yep, I remember that. It's already ingrained. So now it's about how quickly Bud can pick up the language. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah.
These guys do a good job of getting smart football players. He'll pick it up, but Ty still has an advantage. And then within the scheme, there's like little tweaks that you only do because you've ran it before. Like say there's like a too high look, and Ty might not get to the deep half, to start. He might play around a little bit. To whereas a Bud Clark, because he just wants to do exactly what the coach are telling him, are just gonna line up in that too high look, stay there, and play some ball. So the little intricacies of having experience, I think Ty Okada has the advantage. But when you look at the physical ability, Bud Clark definitely is ahead.
That's really good insight. I think we're going to be talking about those two a ton come July and August. Let's jump to the offensive line. You expected them to address the interior of the offensive line. We weren't exactly sure where they would do it. I thought, well, maybe at 64. All these guys are talking about going O-line here. They didn't. They went with Bud, but they did get Bo Stevens later. Daniel Jeremiah thinks he can battle with Bradford right away.
Look, I'd be curious to see if Bo Stevens ends up cracking the lineup there. That would be interesting to me to see if he ends up getting some play. What round was he taking in the 5th?
Fifth rounder.
I think he's better right now. So I would feel comfortable at him versus Bradford. I think that would be an interesting thing to monitor going forward.
Why were you surprised to see Bo still available?
All-American, all Big Ten, like two-time all Big Ten, played right side, played the left side, was just an experienced football player, and you put on the film, and he's dominating. I didn't expect this guy to be that late. And I think maybe, I don't know what his combine numbers were or what his measurables are. Sometimes that's the deciding factor between a lot of these dudes. We saw Chase Basantes go. That was a guy that I was kind of looking at. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was measurables, but there's nothing like putting on film and understanding that Bo Stevens knows and feels the zone concept. He's good at that. They ran a lot of that at Iowa. When you run the gap schemes, he gets lost just a little bit. Maybe that's where the deciding factor was, because a lot of these guys, like Chase, the guy that I like, when you start pulling him, he's just as good. He's getting around and knocking dudes out. But just the experience that this guy has on both sides of the football, or excuse me, the line left and the right, the accolades, and then the film matches all of that. Extremely surprised that he was still there.
I liked this take from Daniel Jeremiah about why the Seahawks draft isn't being talked about quite as much.
Doesn't that make sense, though? Because when we talk about these teams, like when the draft's going on, like normally the teams you talk about are the teams that have taken somebody way earlier than they should, or teams that have gotten this just crazy value of like somehow they got the falling star. Like I love the Toledo safety, and he fell, to the Browns pretty significantly in the second round. But like the Seahawks, we didn't talk about him because I felt like just boom, boom, boom. They're just getting good value, good players all throughout the whole draft.
He's right. I mean, we're talking about Tampa Bay after this one because Reuben Bain slipped to them in the middle of the first round. We were talking about Caleb Downs slipping to the Cowboys, and did the Cowboys have one of the better drafts? It tends to be the guy, the team that gets the steal, and you're like, whoa, that's unbelievable. I really like Daniel's take because it feels like a theme with Seattle that John Schneider has raised that bar, and we're going to talk about an opinion you have about Schneider and Howie Roseman coming up in 15, but that John Schneider and the Seahawks have raised that bar to where they kind of don't get the spotlight and don't get attention simply by doing kind of what they should be doing.
It's because they didn't get the names.
Yeah.
You didn't get...
They didn't make a horrible pick.
Yeah, you didn't get Mackay. You didn't get Downs. You didn't get Reese. You didn't get... I mean, we knew they weren't going to get these guys. You're picking at number 32. So when people evaluate these drafts, they're clearly going to go for the household name going into that draft. And the household names kind of stop around 20. Then it's like, all right, let's get some value. So they just did exactly what they're supposed to do. I know they say they don't draft for need, but gosh darn it, you needed a running back. You needed some secondary help. You needed some offensive line help. Don't tell me you did not draft for need. All right, and it just so happened that you drafted for need and still had your guys there waiting for you. So, John, I will push whatever message you want. They don't draft for need. Yes, they do sometimes. They do. Sometimes they do. All right, just look at the draft. Sometimes but they just hit. And on names that not everyone knew about, that's why they don't get the attention that they probably deserve with this draft. But I think they're completely fine with that. They like working under the radar. Granted, Super Bowl champs don't work under the radar, but you got names that not a lot of people were talking about.
Well, let's talk about that need. Running back was absolutely their biggest entering into this draft. They got Jadarian at pick 32. Daniel Jeremiah asked whether or not Price is the day one guy.
I think he's fully capable of being that. I would imagine so. And then you're going to kind of be able to ease Charbonnet back in. He can do everything you want to do. I think he's fully capable of being that guy. Vision, balance. He's got just a really good feel. His ability in the passing game, I think, is underrated. I think he's going to be able to do some things, catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got good hands from that standpoint. His thing is just going to be pass protection. I guarantee you from the first mini camp, that's going to be if you go out to practice, they're going to be really drilling that down and working with him on that. That would be the only thing that would keep him off the field early. It's just, he's got to get better in that department.
You had a great take after Price was selected on our own draft coverage for Seattle Sports with the rest of the guys. And you were talking about how people's expectations for running backs and how they're utilized in offenses and what they look like here in Seattle should be kind of different because of what running back groups and what those rooms look like in today's NFL. So you were saying, look, Seattle's a running back by committee team. That worked for them last year. That's how most of the league is doing it now. Adjust your expectations for what a successful rookie season for Price looks like.
Yeah, I don't, like Daniel Jeremiah says, he will have the opportunity to be the guy. What does being the guy look like?
Right.
Last year with the Hawks, sometimes we thought Zach was the guy. Sometimes we thought Ken Walker was the guy, and then Ken Walker had to be the guy. I think it can be the same here because we know that George Holani is getting past pro. And he's absolutely right. These guys know how to run zone right, zone left. They know how to run power, trap, and all that stuff. There's only so many runs that you have. The most important part is protecting that guy who's going to lead you to the Super Bowl, number 14 is Sam Darnold. That's going to be the separator. But yes, even if he comes out as the guy, you're still going to see these other two backs, maybe three.
When it comes to the NFL draft, Bump says 2 GMs have absolutely dominated the 2020s. I'm going to guess one of them is Seattle, but who's the other? That's next.
Cal stays on his heater with another bomb.
That is destroyed. Cal Raleigh, a massive homer.
But the Twins nab the opener, ending the Mariners' 4-game win streak. Tonight, Logan Gilbert's on the mound for the M's, looking to get a new streak going.
A vicious splitter. Logan Gilbert lets out a yell.
Mariners Twins, 4:40 first pitch, 3:30 pregame. Listen free wherever you are. Only on one place, the Seattle Sports app.
Happy birthday to Silver Reef Casino Resort. This month marks 24 years. One more, they'll be able to rent a car. Now, for those Silver Reef Casino Resort is actually pretty new in the grand scheme of things. And if you've been there, you know what to expect. If you haven't, make this month to do it. They're having a celebration all month long to mark 24 years of fun, relaxation, entertainment, and good food. Speaking of good food, my favorite is a steakhouse. Go on and treat yourself. Make a reservation online. Why not make a weekend out of it? Got 60-degree days. They're long. Makes for a perfect excuse to check out Loomis Trails Golf Course. It's a hidden gem, one of the best public courses in the entire state. Lastly, remember those celebrations I was talking about. Roads to Riches all month long, capped on April 25th, where you can win a 2026 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300 all-wheel drive. All you got to do is hop on the 5 exit 260 Silver Reef Casino Resort. That's silverreefcasino.com, silverreefcasino.com.
Hey, it's John Curley with my friend Bob Stelton. And Bob, just like me, you had a hip problem. You were recommended surgery. Why did you go see Dr. Wagner first?
I was walking around at about an 8 pain level. I couldn't walk that far before the pain would kick in, and it was impacting my workouts and just really impacting my day-to-day stuff.
So you had stem cell on your hip. How does it feel now?
I can do a lot of things I could not do prior to this procedure, and I feel like I've gotten back to being who I was prior to the injuries, which was somebody who's very active, loves being out there outside when the weather's great, being on the motorcycle, sparring in jiu-jitsu, working out. I can do all of those things now. And I've had friends that have gone to see Dr. Wagner. They had the same experience, whether they were dealing with a hip, a knee, an elbow, a shoulder. Everybody walking out of there feels like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Before you choose surgery, do what Bob and I did. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. drmarkwagnermd.com. drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place. With People Come First.
Hi, Chuck here at Frank Lumber The Door Store. One of our most popular services is our match-up service, where we use your old door as a template to create a new door in your existing frame. Whether you need an interior or exterior door, this is a great way to change out your doors DIY style. And as long as we have what you need in stock, we currently have available space without a long wait for our same-day match-up service. Please visit us in Shoreline, where there's plenty of good parking. Also, check us out online at franklumber.com.
Mariners and Twins tonight in Minneapolis. First pitch at 4:40, 3:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and $250 free hair hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Ewart here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got 3 options. Number 1, sell your home. 2, get a HELOC or refinance. Or 3, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled Tila, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up in less than 15 minutes, we cannot wait to learn a lot more about Bud Clark from someone who knows him very well. TCU DC Andy Avalos is joining us. Again, less than 15 minutes from now. We had a lot of questions about Bud before we get to that. Speaking of Bud, a great pick for the Seattle Seahawks. John Schneider turning 4 selections into 8 new players. Bump, you think 2 NFL GMs have kind of owned the 2020s? Who?
Yeah, I throw 3 in there too, honestly.
No, don't make that group too big.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Exclusive club.
It is exclusive, but
well, who's the third?
All 3 of these teams are Rams.
Less.
Yeah. So you got our guy here in Seattle. You got Rosie over there in Philly. And then I had to throw the Rams in there, too. Like, can't forget the Rams. As much as we don't like them.
I don't like them.
As much as all my homies who grew up in L.A. are now Rams fans all of a sudden when you were Eagles fans and Niners fans growing up.
Oh, it's interesting.
I won't call you out, but I will because you're not listening. It's all good. You got to look at what these 2-3 teams have done and pat them on the back. Even with John Schneider with this draft. Like, Price, the obvious pick. Bud Clark, sneaky as heck. Julian Neal, love that pick. And then you move up to get Bo Stevens. You went in with 4, you left with 8. That is what a good GM does. And then the drafts before that. You got to start out at Grace Abel, start out at Nick Imawari. And then I truly think Riley Mills is going to jack stuff up next year once he gets going. Draft before that, you got Byron Murphy, who's a starter, Tyrese Knight, who was a starter at one point, A.J. Barner, who is our guy here now. All you're asking is to hit with 3. And let's go one more. 2023, Devin Witherspoon, All-Pro. JSN, All-Pro. Zach Charbonnet, contributor. Anthony Bradford, I know. He has started, though. He's been out there getting things done.
Multiple years.
Yeah, and then we'll see if Kenny McIntosh can go. I can even go another year, but we're going to stop right there.
I'll say about Anthony Bradford, too, as much as people will complain about him, and fair, understandable, a multi-year starter from the 6th round is also pretty key there.
Yeah.
You didn't get Anthony Bradford at 15 overall, and then we're sitting here complaining that he's not a Pro Bowler. You got Anthony Bradford late day 3. So, and no disrespect to Anthony Bradford, but, like, I think that getting any multi-year starter that late in a draft is pretty impressive.
Yeah. It is. That's when your scouting department and
putting in work.
I mean, they're grinding film and saying, take a look at this guy, take a look at this guy. And then you go to Philly. And Philly, they do a little bit of both, right? And then, you know what? Big ups to John, too, for bringing in Ernest Jones as well.
Oh, those midseason
Julian
trades.
Love. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just a
Big
draft.
Cat.
It's a midseason Big Cat. Like, my man has been.
Rashid.
The list goes on. All right, he's been in his bag. And then you look at what the Eagles have been able to do. I think this year, with Mekhi Lemon and Eli Stowers, a tight end out of Vanderbilt, they're going to be just fine. I really love those two. A year before, you get a starter in Jahad Campbell, who's like 3rd on the team when it comes to tackles. You get Jaylen Brown 1 year, but then you start bringing more bodies in. It's the transactions. Like, if you go to their transaction list, all right, it's transaction after transaction after transaction. They're moving Hollywood Brown on a 1-year contract. It's just the moves that they make fit exactly what they want to do. And when you look at Philly, they want to be a run-first team, too. I know that A.J. Brown's upset about throwing the football or whatnot. You got Saquon Barkley in the backfield. All right, at one point, you had the best offensive line in football. Had to replenish that, or had to kind of switch things up when it comes to that because of some injuries or whatnot. And you do exactly that. You got Markel Bell out of Miami, who I like, who's going to be a good tackle over there. You bring in Michael Morris out of Georgia, who's going to get an opportunity to play for Philly. It's just every move that they make just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I look at all 32 teams like I do the top dogs, right? Because I don't. I'm not spending time watching film on the Browns, but I will this year with the Jets, okay? Promise you.
I
will
don't
this year
believe
with the
you.
Jets.
You need to stop.
All
This is a bit that's
they're gonna disappoint me. I know,
It's gonna hurt
but I'm
you.
interested. I'm
Congrats
interested.
on next year's number 1 overall
I'm
pick.
interested. According to whoever, Miami's going to have that pick, right?
Yeah, they said Miami goes Arch Manning number 1. It was Fox Sports with their way too early
go.
draft prediction.
Hey, we're making progress. But every move that they make makes sense, and they stay relevant. Whether that be signing Jalen Hurts to a big contract and their fans are going crazy. Why would you sign Jalen Hurts to this contract? Why? He's responsible with the football. He's good in the run game. He's going to help you out. So, yeah, it's just as every time the draft goes by, you start to reflect on teams and what they're doing. There are a few teams that pop out every time and say, that makes sense. Now, the Niners on the other side, I look at them sometimes and be like, I hope you're right, because your fan base is not happy with what you've done. Lynch is getting a lot of heat for reaching, yet he might have reached the past few drafts, but they're still relevant, and that's what makes that whole thing interesting.
I was going to say, there's 2 things sticking with me. One of them is a question for you, and the other is an observation. I'm going to make that one first very quickly. It's that there are multiple teams that I wouldn't include in terms of like best draft classes for the last several years that are still deeply competitive because they have other weapons or because they've made picks that have made them great for a long time. Kansas City is not like knocked it out of the park in terms of personnel additions per se, particularly in their wide receiver room. And I know that this includes some guys that have provided like speed and some interest. It's just you want more from that room for your quarterback. But having your quarterback, keeping your quarterback, extending Chris Jones, who I know didn't have his best year last year, but like reinvesting in the trenches, and I know they need work there. They've still made some changes in terms of their investment and some earlier picks from years ago that have paid off endlessly. Likewise, San Francisco's like that, where they've gotten so much out of Bosa, taking him number 2 overall years ago, that like missing on Trey Lance completely was fine because Brock Purdy worked out, and obviously they have one of the best head coaches in the game in Shanahan. So it's interesting that there are teams that have remained deeply competitive despite missing out on a few consecutive drafts. My question for you is, when you're looking at the guys that you really appreciate, you put John Schneider, Howie Roseman, and Les Snead kind of in a class of their own over the last several years, the 2020s. What do the best GMs have in common? And something that you personally really like in how they approach talent acquisition.
I think this year or next year will be a perfect example of this. If this theory is true, they just get their guys. Their guys. Ty Simpson. If Ty Simpson works out over there with the Rams and he is a 11, 12-win quarterback, getting these guys to the playoffs, we're going to look back at all these bad takes we had in 2026 and say, you know what? They stuck to what they believed in and what they valued. I don't know enough about the culture of Philly. Outside looking in, is rough, is rugged, around the edges, it's brash. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you look at some of the players they have over there, Mekhi Lemon is one of those dudes. Like he's a strangely intense little receiver. You know what I mean? Jalen Carter is one of those dudes. They bring in those kind of guys, and that's a Philly dude. And Sirianni, and our guys they're intense. Don't get it twisted. They ain't no punks, but they're a bit more West Coast, a bit more laid back. But they flip that switch and go. Perfect example is Uchenna. I've never heard someone talk so much trash so calmly before the Super Bowl than Uchenna. It was perfect. But also, he's a West Coast guy. You know, it's just different vibes with his team when it comes to this personalities.
One of the names that we saw a ton yesterday when we were doing draft superlatives, hey, your favorite player from the class, your fan favorite, someone who could take a starting job, someone you were most excited about. One of the names we kept seeing come up is Bud Clark. So why not learn a bit more about Bud? TCU defensive coordinator Andy Avalos joins us next.
Seattle sports like
JSN
powering through a secondary.
Breaks a tackle. He's going to go in.
You can't keep us down.
There is a fire alarm.
I'll die for this job. Fire alarm going off. We still in here.
20 minutes later.
We're back in action. I made sure everyone got safely out of the building.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Definitely. Big thanks to the men and women of the Seattle Fire Department for the quick response. But come on, Wyman, easy on the scented candles next time.
I really want to have the most amazing customer experience. I want people to be excited.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Are you interested in investing in real estate in the greater Seattle market, but don't want to manage properties, develop real estate, or sign on debt? Hi, it's Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital, based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 15 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Find out why over 800 local investors have invested over $200 million in our Legacy family of funds. Legacy Northwest Fund returned over 12% in both 2007 and 2008. Are you looking at diversification opportunities, especially with what's happening in the market this year? Get in touch with us today. Legacy's family of funds has a limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or legacygg.com. That's legacygg.com. This is not investment advice. Investment performance based on average return of LOF1, LOF2, and LSF from 2007 through the date of calculation and after deduction of fees and expenses. Legacy family of funds investments are available to accredited investors only.
Meet the company electrifying the marine industry. ARC, a fully electric boat that feels like a luxury EV. Significantly less maintenance and service, ARC is built to be as easy to operate as it is to maintain. Featuring heated seats and seat backs, a large display, easy handling, and impressive kick. You have to see it and experience ARC for yourself. Book a demo. They'll pick you up on Lake Washington, Lake Union, or Lake Sammamish if you can't come to them in Kirkland. Go to arcboats.com/demo. ARC. You have to see it to believe it.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Do you need a new roof? Then trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing to get you taken care of this spring. Schedule your free estimate at 3treeroofing.com and secure $500 off your roof replacement. Right now, you can still take advantage of spring pricing and beat the summer rush. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
It's a fact. When your eyes work correctly, light focuses through both your cornea and your lens to give you high-quality vision. Hi, it's Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision. Here's another fact. As we near age 50, we begin to lose the quality and function of our natural lens. That's when we start to reach for reading glasses and contemplate those cataracts on the horizon, typically in our 70s or later, but inevitable if we get old enough. Fortunately, K2 Vision has the advanced permanent solution for both, refractive lens exchange, or RLE. K2 Vision RLE is a quick, painless procedure that restores distance and near vision permanently. Plus, another thing is permanent. You will never develop a cataract. After over 20 years replacing over 100,000 failing lenses, we will help you determine when it's your right time for RLE.
Schedule your free Zoom consult today at k2visionrle.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners look to bounce back after a Game 1 loss to the Twins yesterday. Logan Gilbert on the mound for Game 2 today. 4:40 p.m. first pitch. Pre-game show starts at 3:30 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Yesterday, Bump and I went over some draft superlatives for Seattle's new class, and one of the most popular names for favorite pick, most surprising pick, fan favorite pick was Bud Clark, defensive back, safety out of TCU. So let's learn a bit more about Bud with someone who knows him very well. TCU defensive coordinator Andy Avalos joining us right now in the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Coach, how's it going?
Awesome. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic. We have so many new Seahawks to get to know, and this is kind of the best time of the year where they haven't hit the field, you're not getting into the grind of training camp, and you're just kind of learning about them as people, as players, some of their best moments from people who really appreciate these guys and have kind of been in their corner. So I'm going to start by maybe asking some of your early impressions of Bud.
Well, I think some of the things you guys will see pretty quick on, if we haven't already, it's just his charisma and his personality. You know, Bud's going to light up a room when he walks in. He's just got that infectious personality like that, whether it's, you know, with his teammates, the coaches, whoever it may be. And we missed that already. You know, as being a morning operation practice and meeting team, it's always nice to have guys around you like that to be able to start the day off with, you know, he leads himself well and he can help lead others as well. And so we're going to miss that, but we're excited that, you know, that Seattle decided to take him. We are huge fans of what John Schneider has done there and, you know, kind of with rebuilding that place and going through the things and being able to accomplish what they did last year. And we're just very fortunate Bud's going to get to be a part of that.
Hey, Coach, how did you use Bud in your defense, and how do you feel the Hawks will use them in their defense?
Well, I mean, for us, he's a guy that we can create matchups with. His man ability as a safety is really good. And in fact, there's more than a few NFL teams that had, you know, asked and inquired about, you know, his ability to play corner and things like that. And so I think it's really cool, you know, that the Seahawks are going to have the opportunity to put him where they see fit, and whether that's safety or if he plays corner for them, you know, they do some pretty creative stuff on defense that I think, you know, being a multiple defense, Bud's going to fit into that stuff well.
Bud has talked a lot about sharing work ethic with his mom. Dane Brugler has the quote as, "She and I are the exact same person." Can you tell us a bit about him in terms of work ethic and effort?
Well, that is one thing that stands out. You know, let me just say this, you know, they all wear GPSs at practice and workouts and things. And I think in the 2 years that we were together, I can't remember a time when we take a look at those reports and there's anybody that has a higher GPS than Bud. Bud just goes. Bud works. And, you know, there's jokingly, you know, he hasn't gained a ton of weight in the last couple of years, and it's not due to not trying to gain weight or lifting or working hard, but Bud goes and
just
burns a lot of calories, and yeah, he's always moving. And so that's one thing that, you know, we definitely miss, not only from what he brings and his skill set at his position, but then again, it's infectious to our group and our team. And that's the type of leader he was.
I know you've watched a lot of football, a lot of snaps with Bud. If fans wanted to go see a game, that Bud played in or situation, where would you point him to? Is it like what game or situation would you say, okay, that play right there shows you exactly who Bud is on the football field?
I would say, the first game of last season, we're in a third and medium situation, and we put him in a man, and they try to stack up, a couple wide receivers, and so he had to work through a route, and he played the route, came out of his break, brought his eyes back to the ball, and picked it and took it for a touchdown the first game of the season against North Carolina. So I would say that you can watch that game and see him do those things. We came out of the bye week and played Iowa State, and he had a really, really good game. Just to the things we were talking about during the bye week, he worked on some of the tools and techniques and his craft and came out and had a really good game against Iowa State. You can see him play some zone coverages and some man coverages in that game where he had 2 interceptions.
Is there ever, I'm sure there are lots of things he worked on when he was there. Is there anything in particular that he was kind of focused on improving that either now is a strength or maybe even something that he'll need to continue to improve on in the pros?
I think it's always our ability to lead in the pre-snap, communicate, get people aligned, and that's something that we put a lot of effort into. He did, we did, and he's a guy that was a part of getting our coverages set up and getting us in and out of coverages and how he communicated those things and got everybody squared away. And so, it's another step up. He's just going to have to keep learning and growing and handling his process. I think that goes in line with it is he created a process for himself on how he prepares himself even before he gets in the meeting room so he can operate in the meeting room and really start to get reps at things that the defense is doing even before you get on the field. And so, as you get into the NFL, there's probably some more checks and things the nuances that go into it that he's just going to have to keep growing at, but he has a really good base to build off of.
Hey, Coach, you played at Boise back in the day, 01 to 04, been around the game for, 20-plus years. How have you seen safety play change over the years?
Well, yeah, that's a great question because, sometimes it goes as a position that doesn't have high value, as some would say, but I think those are the air traffic controllers back there. They're communicating, getting defenses set up. How the game has changed on offense definitely has impacted the way, you look at the safety position and the matchups, whether that be on a slot that is, very quick. Typically slots are quick in and out of breaks and can accelerate versus the next play you may be lined up on a 6'5" tight end that has length and strength. And so finding safeties that can match up, whether it's versus a slot or a tight end or get in the run fit, play all the zone techniques, you got to be really versatile. And so we put a high priority on that position. And obviously we are working through competition right now to see they're not going to be able to fill those cleats, but they just need to be the best version of themselves in this next season to play Bud's spot.
How much, just as a defensive guy and as someone who I'm sure eats, sleeps, breathes football, were you paying attention to Seattle's defense last year?
Well, I'll say that, Schneid and I go back and we follow along as to, what's going on with the Seahawks, but we had DeMarcus Lawrence at Boise State as well and have been a part of, his life and his journey. And so we paid a lot of attention, and it was, we got to watch Super Bowl from Cabo on the beach, and we're celebrating with everybody down there when it went down.
I ask because I wanted to know, I'm sure that you would have been thrilled for Bud going to any team and have, I'm sure, all the confidence he would have succeeded no matter where. But was there a party that was especially excited going to Seattle, kind of knowing like this is a defensive forward team with a former DC as head coach that really likes to do some fun things with disguises and stuff defensively?
Oh, there's no question. I'm going to tell you this, on Friday night, we had a heck of a time celebrating. These guys work so hard, to put themselves in a position. And then when it lines up, I haven't spent a lot of time around Coach, but I know and follow along the things that he does defensively and structurally and those things. And just, it's such a blessing, not only to have Bud go into an organization and be a part of it, but get to develop and grow underneath a coach, that has had great success as a defensive coordinator and obviously here is a head coach. And so all the blessings, we're going to be rooting even more now and can't wait to see what this season brings.
Coach, you've been around some successful programs, right? From Boise to Oregon and now at TCU. Is there a common theme that you see within these organizations or universities that allow them to be relevant year after year?
Well, I think it all starts in the leadership. It's to some of the things we were just talking about, the leadership that the Seahawks have. And, that's why we take two people like that. It's just being able to model and see how, it's done at the highest level, and then trying to recreate and create, those variables within our organizations and be a part of places that have those variables of a level of consistency. It is always about people. It is about talent, but finding the right people with the talent that's necessary to be successful is such a huge part of it.
John Schneider always emphasizes, in terms of just character traits that he looks for, smart, tough, reliable, says it over and over. Which of those traits, I'm sure all of them you see in Bud, but is there one in particular that just like comes to mind immediately where you're like, oh man, like I immediately thought of this moment or this day or this year?
Just like the last one, reliable in both those things. I think that's what makes reliable, right? Is that these players are going to become prepared. They're going to be smart about how they handle their process. They're going to be tough, both mentally and physically, within a demanding game, and that's what creates reliable. And so the constant pursuit of finding these people, I'll tell you right now, I'm sitting in air conditioning in a truck down in Houston, chasing around some high school guys trying to find the same thing, right? I'm going to step outside the truck here, and it's going to be 100 degrees and about 90% humidity, we're going to go throughout the day and watch some practices, and we're going to look for that. We're going to find out today who's tough, smart, and reliable out here in this Houston heat.
Yeah.
Hey, this has nothing to do with Bud. I just want your insight on just how you've seen these offenses change over the past 5 to 10 years. I remember when we were playing, it was pretty straight up, coach 2x2. Here's your route tree. Go ahead and do your thing. Whereas now, the stacks, the motions, the shift, the layers. How have offenses made your job that much more difficult?
Yeah, I think technology has an impact on that, right? Technology has a huge impact on that, but yet keeping the game as simple as possible so that there's not a lot of time anymore to get guys prepared and get them on the field. Everybody expects things to happen a lot quicker. So with what offenses do and using technology and keeping eye progressions and similar route concepts by just simply changing formations but running the same route concepts makes it easier on quarterbacks and wide receivers, but creating variance in the different formation structures that we as defenses got to cover. And a lot of times that's going to be highlighted around the offensive personnel. And so, again, as we were talking about, finding smart defensive players that can take what seems complex and make simple and create patterns so that they can effectively defend these things.
Do you feel like defensive coordinators maybe don't get the love that you guys all sometimes deserve, as also being kind of like, I feel like everyone here is like, oh, the next Sean McVay. And when Mike McDonald was hired here, most people were really excited because it was clear that a couple different teams wanted him. But I think some people were like, well, what about with quarterback? How are you going to develop that part of it? And it's like, I feel like in the NFL, there's now this second wave of like defensive coordinators being seen as really brilliant and as impacting the game just as much. Do you feel as a defensive guy sometimes like, man, there's so much creativity and work being done here that's sometimes overlooked?
We as defense coaches, we've heard that, and that was a huge trend. 8-10 years ago, a lot of the offense coordinators are getting head coaching jobs, and now you kind of start to see this swing of it going the other way, where even in college football for a while there, there's a lot of the teams that were playing in the national championship were led by defensive-minded head coaches, and so I think it goes back and forth. It's either side of the ball. It's very demanding, and keeping a level of creativity, and to be honest with you, in the world today, just creating unity and a message that everybody could live off of and build and bring to life. And again, I haven't been around Coach McDonald and don't know him personally, but just from afar and studying the game and watching things, wherever he's been, the way those defensive plays show that the level of unity and all in and the buy-in and the mentality and the consistency those guys play with. And when you become a head coach, we're doing that on a whole different level now and with a whole team. And yes, there is that element of finding someone that can develop the quarterback and create a level of consistency, because without great quarterback play, we know what that is.
Last one I got for you, Coach. I don't know what your recruiting region is, but there's some good ball players out here. Why should some of these athletes look at TCU in your program?
Well, number one, it's all about the people, like we talked about, and finding the right fit. TCU is an unbelievable university. You can get an elite education, and with that, an elite network. And playing, in the Big 12, we play a variety of offenses, defenses. It's a very high competitive conference that has been involved in the playoff, and having players drafted really high in the NFL draft and getting the opportunities to go on and play in the NFL from this conference, and really from TCU, from this institution. We're just blessed to be a part of it. There's great tradition of the success that TCU has had and growing itself on a stage, into becoming a Power 4 team.
All right, and then, Coach, right before we let you go, we actually have to ask for a favor. When we get a chance to talk with Bud a bit later this offseason, whether it's for rookie camp or in training camp at the end of the summer, what's the trick here? Like, he seems like an open guy, but how do we get him to open up? What does he like talking about? What's the move for us?
Oh, man. Well, I know this. Like, again, I'd walk through the dining hall now and it'd be like, Bud, let's eat a little bit more, a little less chatter. Come on, buddy. We need to get some muscle mass. The way you fly around and hit people, we need a little body armor on you. Come on. But Bud, you just got to get Bud going now. Here's a little joke. So, and Buddy Bud is one of my favorites that I've ever, gotten a chance to coach. But I told Bud until he got to 195, I was going to call him Jadarius until he got to 195, and then he can become Bud. But, you can have some fun with him on a variety of things. He is a very, very smart, intelligent, and, again, his charisma is going to – you guys will feel that, and he's a fun person to talk to. So here in the near future, in the years he's there at Seattle, I hope you guys have a great time covering him.
Oh, we can't wait. We've had a great time talking to you as well. Thanks so much for your time, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Have a good
great
one.
Day.
Again, that was TCU defensive coordinator Andy Avalos, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline.
Andy is from Cali. He sounds Texas through and through, man.
He sure does.
He does.
I mean, I do this thing. This isn't what Andy's doing. I did do this thing for a while where I worked at the zoo out of college, and sometimes people would come up with, like, maybe they'd have a British accent or maybe they'd have a Southern accent, and all of a sudden I did too when I was talking to them. So I can't say anything about Andy because I fear that 1 week in Texas I would have a twang.
You changed on us.
Yeah. No, that was really fun. I can't wait to talk to Bud. And am I brave enough to immediately say he needs to put on weight? I don't know.
Nah, I'll do it. I won't say he needs. I'll do it in a different way, but we can get there.
We'll say hello, Jadarius. You're gonna need to earn Bud, I guess. All of our draft pick profiles are powered by Home Comfort Alliance. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game. With former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Love this first question. First down, in honor of Vrabel and Rossini's playlist, what would be in your top 3?
My top 3 back in the 2000s, getting ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
One would be Young Jock is Going Down.
Of course.
Once you hear that, you feel it. You get going, gets me going. My second one would be Stay Fly, 3-6 Mafia.
Of course.
I gotta stay fly. And the last one, this is what I would run off the field to. This ain't my genre. This ain't a genre. It'd be Hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Mm-hmm. Every day I'm hustling. Yeah, so Rossini.
That's a great playlist.
We got your list. Suspect. But these top 3 right here, all my footballers from the early 2000s, you feel me?
If you're wondering what this playlist is about, we'll talk about that in a little over 10 minutes. Second down. What wouldn't bother you about the Seahawks 2026 draft class?
It wouldn't bother me if we start the season and all these guys are 2s. Like, all of them are 2s. Because if they're ready to go, they're ready to go. Coach Mike McDonald's going to put them in there. But what that means is Anthony Bradford got better. What that means is Ty Okada is trying to hold off Bud Clark as long as he can. What it means is that Julian Neal is still biting at the heels of these dudes, but they're not ready yet. Eventually, we're going to see all 3 of these guys. Bo Stevens as well. Did I say Bo Stevens? Yeah. But we know Price is going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to see him eventually, but to start the season, if these guys aren't solidified number 1s, That means those veterans have gotten better. That means they've taken advantage of these opportunities with these other guys leaving. So, yes, I want to see those guys. I think we will see them eventually. But if we come out and Bud is a 2, Neil's a 2, and Bo's a 2, I'm saying, you know what? Good job, everyone else, for fighting these dudes off because they are coming for spots as soon as they step foot at VMAC.
Third down. I really liked this back and forth between you and Andy. Good conversation here. Why do you feel playing safeties become even more difficult?
Yeah, and I'm talking to him and I'm listening to some of his responses about offenses and defense and how you played. You're just asking your safety to do more. Like, you're asking your edge defenders, your linebackers to do more. Why? Because the evolution of the play calling and shifting or whatnot has changed in the NFL. So you're going to ask your 185-pound safety to get in the box and cover this tight end. We're going to ask you to stay over the top. You know what? We might move you outside. There are just so many things that these safeties have to do and be aware of. It painted a picture talking to coach and having him describe the things that they are up against and how the position has just been devalued. It's been crazy to me because you need a safety back there.
Do you think that's changing, though? Because even before Mike McDonald became head coach here, but certainly once he did, people were like, well, Kyle Hamilton, this is such an innovative, like, all of a sudden having a safety that was rangy and really physical was a brand new idea. But people were talking about it like it was. And I wonder if that's going to increase that value a little bit.
It must. I think in the next few years, we're going to see a big old pay increase for these guys.
Fourth down. Let's get back to that conversation with TCU defensive coordinator Andy Avalos. Anything else stand out from Andy?
Yeah, I love the way he described the safety position and said they're air traffic controllers. And I thought about Julian Love. And if you watch the game, Jay Love is in the back making sure everyone is where they're supposed to be. He is the freelancer back there. He sees everything, and I think that's important. If you're not aligned correctly, then your assignment's going to be jacked up. Your execution is going to fail. Some guys can make up for it, but for the most part, align, assign, execute. I live and die by that. So does my guy, Dave Wyman. Also, he said that Bud is reliable, and that's half the battle. Everyone who suits up on a Sunday is a good athlete. Some are better than others, but I've seen athletes who aren't as good as the guy in front of them not play because they aren't reliable. Because they're not where they're supposed to be, because they're not doing the things in the facility. They're not doing things outside the facility. You got to be reliable in all phases of your life, and coaches do a good job of sniffing that stuff out, especially nowadays with technology and stuff. I mean, I can tell you who was in the streets this offseason just by going on my phone and checking up on fools and seeing what they're doing. So I love that. That was one of the words that he used to describe Bud Clark was reliable, because you're going to need that in the back end with his play. You're going to need it in the facility. You're going to need it in the streets, too.
Very related, and you kind of already said this, but is there a lot more, like, self-starting when you're in the pros versus college, where it's like you don't have a coach, maybe, hey, you aren't in class or whatever? Like, is there a lot more of, like, I was thinking of Andy saying that, all these guys have kind of, like, basically GPS things on them, and, like, we can see that, like, Bud never stops. Like, he's really active. He is constantly moving, constantly doing things. Is that a really important trait when you get to the pros from college?
Yeah, well, you got to be a self-starter. You got to be able to show up and be a pro. But when you're drafted pretty high, you get a bit more help, a bit more of a push from the coaches and the veterans on your team. But when it's all said and done, if you're not able to show within a few weeks that you're moving in the right direction, they will start making plans. Now, Bud, I don't think he's going to be a problem. I don't think it's going to be an issue. He'll get more opportunities than others just because of his talent and what he did in college. But, yeah, for the most part, you got to show up ready to go. You can't show up to minicamp trying to get in shape.
Yeah.
You're in shape before you get into minicamp and making sure you're checking all your boxes.
You know who, speaking of air traffic controllers, you know who I think would make a great air traffic controller?
Who that?
Matt. Don't you guys think? Matt,
Yeah,
I think that was like your
Yeah,
calling.
he panics a lot.
No, I don't think so. But I think that he would still be giving direction. Like yesterday when we were outside, because there was the fire alarm that went off, and Matt was like, we're 13 minutes away from being not FCC compliant. Like, he's on it.
The planes would stay in the air, but
Thank
those
you.
pilots would hate me.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of our show already.
That might be your best one of 2026.
That was pretty good, Stacey. That was pretty good.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Speaking of that playlist, we'll finally tell you what the heck is going on Spotify. That's next.
Wyman and Bob.
The Seahawks end up with 8 picks.
Every afternoon at 2.
They went in with 4, turned them into 8. What'd you think?
It did sort of align with what they needed. I love the first round pick. I would just give John an A for hanging around until 32 to take Jadarian Price.
They could use it. You could use it with the uncertainty surrounding certainly Charbonnet and or McIntosh, if he's even going to be part of it.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place. When people come first.
Total Wellness at Home is here. Save up to $2,800 on a saltwater hot spring spa and enjoy healthy, relaxing soaks. Save up to $12,000 on an endless pool swim spa for a year-round retreat. These massive savings end April 30th.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
When you buy a new vehicle from Lee Johnson, you'll get a lifetime powertrain warranty included.
Thinking about upgrading your water heater? Snohomish PUD can help. Right now, you can get $1,000 back when you install a qualifying heat pump water heater. These systems use far less energy than standard electric tanks, which means lower electric bills for you.
Oh, nice.
Choose an eligible model, apply for your rebate within 90 days, and get cash back from PUD. Learn more at snowpud.com/rebates.
The chartered plane to Queen Charlotte Lodge is on the runway, and you're not going to want to miss it. This summer has limited availability for king salmon, halibut, and lingcod fishing in beautiful Haida Gwaii, British Columbia. Queen Charlotte Lodge is absolutely the place to be. A luxury resort and amazing fishing with your buddies, dad, or son. Book your stay at fishqcl.com, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience fishing first class. And remember, our dollar's worth $1.35 north of the border.
You're losing your hair, and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Mariners and Twins tonight in Minneapolis. First pitch at 4:40, 3:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250-MIC-ROW. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Dave Wyman here to talk about a revolutionary treatment for prostate cancer. It's Swedish, called CyberKnife. I want to bring in Dr. Meyer, medical director of the Swedish Radiosurgery Center. Dr. Meyer, what makes Swedish CyberKnife so effective?
The CyberKnife allows us to target prostate cancer with better than 1 millimeter of accuracy. It adjusts for patient motion on the fly in real time, and it avoids giving radiation to other surrounding vital organs. Plus, the treatment can be done in just 5 quick sessions.
I understand it's the most technologically advanced treatment available.
Correct. Plus, the CyberKnife is more affordable, it's less invasive, and has minimal side effects compared to other treatments. Our research shows that after 10 years, more than 90% of patients are free from cancer progression.
To learn more about CyberKnife for prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/CyberKnife prostate, or just give them a call, 206-320-7187.
CyberKnife is a registered trademark of Accuray Incorporated and is used with permission. Around the Diamond is sponsored by Klein Jewelers.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
I haven't heard the details on the Rossini playlist. I love the gossip, though. I can't deny it, says the 949. We got you covered. We kind of turned it into a fun activity for Matt. It's sports news in the timeline. It's time to have a little bit of fun, though. The first story is a Spotify account that might belong to Diana Rossini sent a playlist that might belong to Mike Vrabel. This is a tweet that went viral yesterday from a guy, David Cavucci, on X. So the Titans at this point had gone on a 4-game losing streak. And so that user, Diana Rossini, sent the playlist to maybe Vrabel. It's titled Turnin' the Page and includes hits like Pink's Raise Your Glass, Lotto's Big Energy, and Papa Roach, Last Resort.
Banger.
A classic. So we asked Matt, who doesn't like sports, but I thought this would be a fun activity, to tell us the 3 worst songs from this playlist. We have no input here whatsoever. Matt, what do you have for us?
I also thought this would be a fun activity until I started listening.
Oh.
This is
so
one of the most discordant, awful playlists I've ever seen put together.
Discordant.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have 2 Beyonce songs
but
and
that's
0
not
good
enough.
Beyonce songs.
Okay. First
Like,
of
how
all,
do you do that? You
there's-
picked 2 of the only bad ones.
Oh, that's a fair take. That's a fair take.
The first one I'll play, Break My Soul by Beyonce. We'll listen to it, and then, Stacey, you can read out the lyrics and try to guess what kind of frame of mind Diana was in when she put this on here.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no, Matthew. Oh, no, Matthew.
She has so many better songs.
All of her songs are good. You're crazy. They will break my soul.
Exactly. That's what she's saying. Like,
Now-
look, they're hating on us.
I just fell in
Good.
love, and I just quit my job.
I wouldn't recommend that.
I'm going to find a new drive. Damn, they work me so damn hard.
It sounds like the radio station.
Break My Soul by Beyonce. Matt, you're crazy for that one. You're crazy for
I
that
mostly
one,
just
Jay.
included it because I love that the lyrics included, I just fell in love and I just quit my job. Like, how perfect is that?
Okay, what's next?
Next, this is just a truly awful song.
Okay.
God of Thunder by Kiss.
You dance to this.
I don't know how you dance to this.
Go.
I mean, you can find the... Okay, I don't like that one. I don't like
That's
it. We
when
can cut it.
they're sloppy drunk, just staring each other's eyes, just rocking back and forth. Oh, yeah, I love you.
Okay, and the last one.
Just really quick, though. That's
yeah.
on a playlist with 2 Beyonce songs. What's the connection? There's no story being told in this playlist. It is abysmal.
Okay, and then the third one.
The last one, House Party by Sam Hunt. This feels like a song that would be playing in the background of like a Nickelodeon show about a house party.
Yeah.
And I mean that as insultingly as possible.
Yeah, derogatory. Okay, so what I'll say, I thought Pink Raise Your Glass was also one of the worst ones from this. Lotto, get behind me. You're safe here. And Papa Roach, Last Resort, I thought, like, what is this playlist? Look, this story keeps getting crazier. There's like one or two people that are like, enough of this, but I can't help that this is, and I'm not saying this sarcastically, it's not my fault, the most popular talked about story in sports right now. And this is following the NFL draft.
Right?
I can't believe this.
Forget Caleb Downs.
It keeps getting weirder. All right.
is.
Good job, Matt. Thank you so much for organizing that and telling us the worst songs from
Never
it.
give me a playlist like that to listen to again, please.
No, we kind of have to get a feel for it. I like the idea of like, oh, you're on a 4-game losing streak with the Titans. Here's House Party by Sam Hunt. Turn the page. Next story. There's a great new interview that Jeff Passan had with Cal Raleigh. I think it's almost an hour long. We are not playing it, but we do have a funny part of the interview. Cal talked about how he is a very, I'll call it unique piece of custom equipment.
You wear a cup, right?
Yeah, you have to. Every catcher has to. That's like rule number one as a catcher. Even if I'm taking BP, I'll probably still have a cup on. So it's become second nature at this point. This company made a really nice customized cup. So it's got like Big Dumper on it. It's got the Trident on it. It's pretty cool.
You've got a cup that says Big Dumper on it?
Good
They're
follow-up,
called
Jeff.
Diamond MMA. So they're an MMA company. But they started making these jock straps and cups. And a lot of baseball players are using it. And they're a great company. And they customized one. They put like the Trident, the home run Trident. And, they got real creative with it.
Do you have to get like measured for like with ABS where they're measuring your height? A little measurement down there as well?
I don't even know how that would even start, but it's not a bad idea just because some guys, it's either too small, too big. You want to make sure it's nice and snug, obviously. So.
Now, a strange follow-up. Okay. I would have asked, my question would have been, did you design it? Like, did you request that it say Big Dumper with a Trident?
Did they send you some designs?
Exactly.
Because I want that one.
If they just sent it, it's funny by itself, but it is objectively funnier if you requested that it say Big Dumper.
Two things.
Yes.
Why design? No one's seen that but you and maybe any weirdos looking at you in the clubhouse.
It's kind of how you feel about, certain some people love home improvement. You know what I mean? Like sometimes there's things that like no one else is going to see, but cute pajamas.
And two, it should not be called the Big Dumper. Starts with a different letter. You can figure it out.
That's what you would have called it if it was. You said, first of all, you don't need it.
It ain't the dumper right there, brother.
You said you don't need it to be customized. That's silly. You don't need that. But look, if I were to customize it, if I were to,
it'd be something else.
I think it'd be fun to have it bedazzled. Rhinestones?
I feel like it'd hurt, like it rub against your thigh or something.
I didn't think about wearing it.
You put the bedazzling on the outside.
Yeah. I did not consider that part of it. Next story. Giants kicker Young Hoku had one of the biggest blunders of the 2025 NFL season when he completely whiffed on a field goal attempt.
7-yard try now by Young Hoku, and he stumbled. Gillen gets swallowed up. Patriots ball. I don't think I've ever seen that.
That's not news. Again, that happened during the season. But did that blooper actually save someone's life? In a roundabout way, yes. This is the news story. 59-year-old Mark Toothaker, who's a horse trainer in Lexington. I'm going to pause and say, Curtis, did you want to say your joke?
Toothaker? Well, we haven't gotten to why.
Oh, got it. Okay,
no.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
We got to get to the injury.
He laughed so hard at the missed kick that it started giving him a really bad headache. So
Toothaker? More like headacher.
So he went to get a CT scan, and it revealed he had a tennis ball-sized tumor on the left side of his brain. It turned out to be benign, which is obviously amazing. But Youngway ended up, I don't think dramatic to say, helping him certainly. Maybe even saving his life. He'll be at Saturday's Kentucky Derby because a horse from his farm will be racing. So I'm sure he'll be asked to follow up here.
That's what's up, man. Save lives. Cool. Good for you.
Yeah. People are giving in suggestions for what would be on a cup, and I'm uncomfortable with where the timeline has gone. I thought that the weirdest part of the timeline would be the playlist. And then I thought, no, certainly the weirdest part of the timeline will be the guy that discovers a tumor on his brain because of a missed field goal. But no, the weirdest part of the timeline is the entire text line explaining what they would have on their custom cup.
Yeah, get creative.
No, unfortunately, everyone's now thinking of different ideas. We're moving on. We are moving on. Let's go around the diamond. The Mariners look to bounce back against the Twins later today for Game 2. Logan Gilbert on the mound. Pregame starts at 3:30 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. First pitch is at 4:40. That's Around the Diamond, brought to you by Klein Jewelers Edmonds. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Coming up is the answer for the Mariners to send Castillo to the pen. Hype Train's next.
Cal stays on his heater with another bomb.
That is destroyed. Cal Raleigh, a massive homer.
But the Twins nab the opener, ending the Mariners' 4-game win streak. Tonight, Logan Gilbert's on the mound for the M's, looking to get a new streak going.
A vicious splitter. Logan Gilbert lets out a yell.
Mariners Twins, 4:40 first pitch, 3:30 pregame. Listen free wherever you are. Only on one place, the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And if you're looking for a spot to catch all the spring baseball and sports, I got a place for you. Hawks Peak Sports Bar and Grill. It's your home for game days with more than 60 TVs, so you won't miss a play. They got great food and drinks, and nothing beats the views. So get in on all the action at Hawks Peak. Head to snocasino.com for all the details. That's snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Spring is here, Seattle, and now is the smartest time to replace your roof. Trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing, a local, family-owned company that knows how to roof in Washington weather year-round. Schedule your free estimate today at 3treeroofing.com to take advantage of spring pricing, shorter wait times, and get $500 off your new roof before the summer rush hits. Our experts come to you, build a clear plan, and give you an estimate that same day. No surprises and no high-pressure sales tactics. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Hey homeowners, are you stuck on the credit card treadmill and stressed because your consumer debt and monthly payments are too high? Well, Brock Hewitt here with a smart solution. Your home's equity in the Seattle Metro is probably larger than ever. It's like you're sitting on a stack of cash. Consider a cash-out refinance with Tila Mortgage to consolidate your high-balance credit cards, second mortgages, home equity lines of credit, and student loans, or get cash for a remodel. With interest rates finally coming down, consolidating your debt now may be the best decision you ever make. With excellent client reviews and trusted in Washington for over 25 years, Tila has competitive rates on refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgages too. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call Tila Mortgage today, 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
TILAmortgage.com. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net.
This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net. Mariners and Twins tonight in Minneapolis. First pitch at 4:40, 3:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Progressive knows that for business owners, vacations hit different. But hey, at least you finally took a vacation. And look at that. You only answered 53 calls, 84 emails, onboarded one new hire, and covered for Chris while he's out on paternity leave, and you did it all from a kayak. Because you, my friend, know how to relax. All right, you may not know how to take a day off, but you do know both your personal and business auto insurance needs can be covered in one place with Progressive. So at least that's relaxing, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you are listening to Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We're getting back to the draft in 15 minutes with Rob Staton of Seahawks Draft Blog, asking some of his quick reactions from 8 new Seattle Seahawks. Before we get to that, though, let's head to the station for Hype Train. We started the show by talking about the 4 different options that the Mariners have for Luis Castillo right now. One of them is to move him to the bullpen. So that's your first Hype Train. The answer for the Mariners is to put Luis Castillo, or to have Luis Castillo pitch out of the pen.
I think that's option number 2. I think you go with what Curtis suggested, sit him on that IL, figure some things out, let some guys get some opportunity, and then you put him in the pen. So no, that's option.
Okay.
That's option number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
The answer for the Mariners is Luis Castillo pitching out of the pen. It's tougher to say than you think. Bump said eventually he's open to it, but it's not his first resort. Are you boarding this train?
I am not boarding this train as well. I think they find Castillo a place on the IL for the time being, just to buy yourself a couple of weeks. Then once everybody's maybe kind of figured it out, or, I mean, hey, if Bryce Miller comes back and he's not sharp, then you put Luis Castillo, I guess, back in the rotation. If somebody else falters, you put Castillo back in the rotation. But I think it is likelier he ends up on the IL than he does in the bullpen immediately. So not boarding this train.
I'm also not boarding this train, so this one leaving solo away from the station empty. I am eager to, from 1 to 2, we have the Dugout All Mariners, and Ryan Rowland-Smith is joining us at 1:30. Eager to ask him his thoughts on whether Luis works as a bullpen arm, but also about Dan Wilson kind of hinting at we're just going to have to go fix a couple things. It's like, well, what are those things? What does that mean? Is it
coach talk?
Right. Is it using another pitch more? Or is that much harder than it sounds like? What does that look like in practice? So that's coming up at 1:30. Don't want to board that train. Next up. 8 new Seahawks in the 2026 NFL Draft. 3 will be day 1 starters.
Day 1. So we're looking at Price, Clark, Neal, Bo. You know, I think Price is going to be a starter. You can almost guarantee that. The next 3 is going to be tough. At least 3. I'm on it. Yep, let's go. 3. I think it's going to be Price, Bud, and Bo.
Okay.
Price, Bud, and Bo.
That sounds like a law firm, but like kind of a weird one where it's just first name. Price, Bud, and Bo. We might win your suit. We don't know. Curtis, the Seahawks will have 3 day 1 starters from this class. Are you boarding? Bump is.
Now, do we count special teams as starters?
No.
No. Because I was going to put my boy Michael Dansby, bear down, as a special team starter. He's got burners. Let me tell you what. He's a fast guy. 3 starters out of this group. Price, yes. Bud Clark, yes.
Sounds like you're a no.
I'll say Julian Neal. Yeah, we'll go 3.
Okay.
We're boarding this train. We'll get 3 starters, but by the end of the season, yeah, 3 starters from this group. I mean, heck, it's been a while since Seahawks have gone a draft without multiple starters, and I believe it was the 2021 draft where they didn't get multiple starters. So this would just kind of be par for the course for them.
I'm gonna not board. I'm with Christian the 206 texting in. I feel comfortable with 2, and I think 3 or more is certainly possible. But right now, I think 2. So just 2 aboard this one. Next up. The Rams and Ty Simpson actually did meet prior to the draft. There was a report yesterday in the timeline that Ty Simpson said he had, a secret meeting for hours, a few hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it was actually our first headline. He said he met with Sean McVay prior to the draft in secret.
So
the headline, the hype train is that actually happened.
Yeah, I'm on. That happened. I don't think you put that out there. Why lie about that? What is in question is McVay's body language. Are you putting on a show?
Yeah.
Because he was more excited about their other pick than he was about Ty Simpson. That was number 13. So it's more about McVay and the way he decided to portray himself during that pick. But yeah, I think they met.
The Rams and Ty Simpson actually did meet prior to the draft. Bump says, yeah, I think so. That's not really in question for me. Curtis, what about you?
I'm not boarding this train.
Oh?
I think that they're in damage control because this is a Les Snead pick. They want to paint it as a Sean McVay one. They've coached up Ty Simpson to say, no, actually, you did meet. Which, I'm pretty sure you have to declare that you met with somebody in your top 30 visits. If you don't, then that's kind of against league rules, right? That's a no-no. Or
they'd be in trouble right now if that was the case.
Yeah. So I think they did not meet. I think this was Les Snead doing Ty Simpson's dad a favor because they go back a lot of years, and Snead advised Ty Simpson to come out in this draft. So,
but a favor with number 13 overall. I'll do you a favor and
it's
take
the old
your
boys
kid
club
in
of
the
the
7th
NFL.
round. Jeez. I like the conspiracy theory. I think that they met, but I like your answer better. But I am gonna board this one. Next and last into the station. Papa Roach's Last Resort is actually the worst song on the Rossini playlist. No!
This is a banger. This is a banger.
Are you boarding this train?
What? Tripping. Banger. You want to see the black delegation get up on some white boy stuff? Yeah. You play this at the cookout.
Bump hasn't stopped bobbing his head neither. Curtis, are you boarding this train? Bump says, absolutely not. Cut my life into pieces.
I mean, it's one of those songs that's so bad that it's good. So, yeah, we'll board this train. But it gets the people going, that's for sure.
It absolutely does.
But on the same playlist as Beyonce?
I'm boarding this train.
Last resort.
I can't. Matt, it's the perfect train horn.
Last resort.
That's the hype train. You're listening to Bump.
Hey, they were number 1 on the billboards for a while.
I believe it.
No, I remember this song. When did it come out?
Probably like late 90s.
What? No
like
way.
98, 99?
2000.
August of 2000.
2000.
Yeah.
Okay, that's close.
That was close. In my memory, it was like a 2000, 2001.
It got a lot of play on MTV.
Yeah. Whatever happened to MTV? Is it still around?
No, no more music videos.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Coming up, we have 8 new Seahawks to talk about with Rob Staton.
Last resort. Seattle sports like
JSN
powering through a secondary.
Breaks a tackle. He's going to go in.
You can't keep us down.
There was a fire alarm.
I'll die for this job. Fire alarm going off. We still in here.
20 minutes later.
We're back in action. I made sure everyone got safely out of the building.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Definitely.
Big thanks to the men and women of the Seattle Fire Department for the quick response. But come on, Wyman, easy on the scented candles next time.
What does baseball and Klein Jewelers have in common? Diamonds, of course. Hi, Andy Klein here. Sure, we love baseball, but we love diamonds even more. Why? Because our diamonds sparkle and last longer than 9 innings. Every diamond is hand-selected for maximum brilliance, quality, and value. Klein Jewelers by the Fountain in downtown Edmonds also has a big selection of engagement rings, wedding bands, diamond and gemstone fashion jewelry, and one-of-a-kind custom designs. Swing for the fences and shine with Klein.
Hello, Seattle. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America NA, member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Let Olympic help you create the ultimate home contrast therapy studio. Pair relaxing Tilo sauna with our revitalizing Vigor cold plunge. Save up to $5,000 when you buy both. These massive savings end April 30th.
The chartered plane to Queen Charlotte Lodge is on the runway, and you're not going to want to miss it. This summer has limited availability for king salmon, halibut, and lingcod fishing in beautiful Haida Gwaii, British Columbia. Queen Charlotte Lodge is absolutely the place to be. A luxury resort and amazing fishing with your buddies, dad, or son. Book your stay at fishqcl.com, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience fishing first class. And remember, our dollar's worth $1.35 north of the border.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. If you're dealing with ED, I know what happens. You start trying the miracle supplement online or those pills sitting next to the energy drinks at the corner store. If there's one thing I've learned in life, cheaper is rarely better. ED and Peyronie's disease are a major problem with few real solutions. You don't need a gas station pill. You need medical-grade technology to fix your problems. At West Coast Men's Health, we use acoustic wave therapy to treat the root cause. No pills, no shots, no surgery. Real equipment, real staff, and real results. Stop wasting money on things that don't work. It's time to end the frustration and the long nights. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or low T, we can help. Call West Coast Men's Health today.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy. Call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener. Like maybe you ride a motorcycle.
But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV, but if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to it at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey, everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Another coaching change in the East, this time in the NL. The last place Phillies have fired manager Rob Thompson after a 9-19 start to the season. Bench coach Don Mattingly has been named interim manager through the end of the year. The news came just a day after the Red Sox fired manager Alex Cora and 4 other coaches. According to USA Today's Bob Nightingale, the Phillies offered Cora the managerial job before Mattingly, but Cora declined.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Seahawks Draft Blog's Rob Staton joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Rob, we have new Seahawks to talk about. 8, in fact. Credit to John Schneider turning 4 picks into 8 before we get to a lot of those day 3 guys. I wanted to start with a very general, your single favorite pick, the one that made you most excited from this class, was who?
Bo Stevens. I think anytime that you can get a lineman from Iowa, it's a good thing. You've kind of got to do it. So I had him as a player who could go on day 2. It was surprising that he lasted, and he wasn't the only one. Like Emmanuel Pregnon lasted a lot longer than I think people expected as well. So to see him there at the start of round 5, and the Seahawks clearly thought this is a bit of an opportunity here. We're going to use some of our stock for next year to go and get him, and they bring him in. And now you've got, third best zone blocking guard in the draft coming in. Everybody at Iowa loves him. Won back-to-back years leadership awards for the way that he carried himself on and off the field. And he can come in and compete with Anthony Bradford this year. And the worst case scenario is perhaps you've got somebody who could take over from him in a year's time. So I think that was that was the one that had me sort of celebrating the most over the weekend.
Yeah, I think we all did. That's why John and them made the move to go get that young man. All-American, all Big Ten, and no one took a bite at him. So, yeah, I was excited about that one, too. But I like Bud. I like what Bud is going to bring to the table. I thought they were fine at the safety position with Ty Okada. I wasn't sure if they're going to go safety. But when you watch the film, the tape, what do you see and like out of Bud?
Playmaker, somebody who is always around the ball. And he tips a lot of passes. He picked a lot of them off. He had 15 interceptions in college. I think it was just interesting to sort of see when you do watch the tape how close he was to a few more interceptions. And you can use him in a lot of different areas. At the Senior Bowl, he was just one of those players who you're watching all of the reps in the 1v1s and then in the scrimmages, and he constantly stood out. He made the play of the week in Mobile, this crazy interception that just looked impossible to make. It just leapt off the screen when you were watching the Senior Bowl. So it's not a surprise that they were interested in him. High character guy, very athletic, playmaker. And when you look at safeties over the years, they tend to the production carries. So if you have a safety who creates a lot of interceptions in college, it tends to be that production will carry through to the pros. So I thought that was a great pick. I thought he was like a mid-second round player, and they got him at the end of round 2. So great value there for him, and I'm very interested to see how he's going to fit into this excellent Mike McDonald defense.
In many of our conversations with you leading up to the draft, we asked you specifically about the running back room here in Seattle, about the running back class in 2026, and obviously about Jadarian Price. There were still some defensive players we'd previewed available at 32. Seattle ended up going with Price. What did you think about the pick?
think it makes total sense. I was always somebody who liked Jadarian Price and didn't mind that they were going to take him potentially at 32 or if they were going to trade down a few spots. It never really bothered me because I thought he was one of the 32 best players in this draft. And if people are sort of saying, well, the positional value isn't very good and stuff like that, there's a couple of answers I would have to that. If you take Colton Hood at 32, just as an example, let's just use one of the cornerbacks who visited Seattle, who was often mocked to the Seahawks at the end of round one. If you take him in the first round, and then you've got a really anxious wait on day 2 all the way through to 96 because Jonah Coleman and Mike Washington went in round 4. So you're hoping, are these players going to get to the end of the third round? And let's say that they do. If you just look at the numbers difference between Jadarian Price, I did a big article on this yesterday, just looking at a couple of really important data points. And I went back 10 years and pulled out the data for any significant running back who has entered the league in the last 10 years. There were 36 of them in total. That's highly drafted players or players who then had great careers having been drafted wherever, day 3 or whatever it was. And Jadarian Price, of all those running backs in the last 10 years, in college was 7th on the list for yards after contact per carry, and he was 11th for explosive run rate. And the players that he was around in terms of explosive run rate, he was 1% behind, to name a few of these players: Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, Devon Achane. These are really good NFL players. Now, Jonah Coleman and Mike Washington Jr., with respect, were nowhere near those rankings in terms of what Jadarian Price was capable of. So for me, they've taken a shot on a player who can provide big plays, who's performed very well in yards after contact per carry, which does look as if it's indicative of going on and having success in the NFL. It makes perfect sense they would bring him in with that pick and then not have to worry about anybody else lasting to number 96.
The draft is weird. Sometimes things happen the way that you think it's going to happen. Price ended up at 32. That worked out. But then there's some things that happen that just kind of throw you off. 2 moves made in our division that kind of had me smiling and shaking my head a little bit. Anything surprising? Was there anything that surprised you during the draft?
Well, the obvious one is Ty Simpson at 13, isn't it? And I think perhaps what's more surprising than the actual decision to pick Ty Simpson, because Matthew Stafford is an older quarterback, is the way that the Rams have handled this afterwards. So first of all, you've got the video of Sean McVay, which, by the way, the Rams don't have to release that video. So if they're worried about how Matthew Stafford's going to react to anything, there's a simple solution to that, fellas. Just don't put the video out. Right. But they do put the video out, and Sean McVay's looking very disappointed. So the whole internet's reacting. Well, this is clearly Sean McVay's not happy about this pick. And then for the next 24 hours, you have this damage limitation. I think anybody who was on Sean McVay or Les Snead's phone contacts list was contacted to get the message out that this was simply Sean McVay doing his best Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise impersonation. He was just acting so that Matthew Stafford would not be annoyed, which then makes you think, well, did you not talk this through with Matthew Stafford? How is he going to react to this if you are having to put on a performance in the draft call video to not upset your incumbent quarterback? I just think it's created a mess of a situation. And I don't know if Ty Simpson's worth all of that mess, quite frankly. You could have just taken Vanga Ioane and had a brilliant left guard for the next 10 years. You could have took Ruben Bain. You could have taken one of these receivers or they love collecting tight ends. They could have had Kenyon Sadiq in that spot. They've created this weirdness, this drama, this fuss around the decision to take Ty Simpson. And I'm sorry, for a player who played 15 games in college football and nobody else was really expecting to go that early, it just seems a bit of an own goal, really, from the Rams. So that was the big one that stood out for me. But I also think the Cardinals got in on the act by taking Carson Beck at the top of round 3. The guy's an interception machine. And I've just been predicting maybe you've got a guy in Bud Clark who's got a lot of interceptions. You've got a guy in Carson Beck who likes to throw a lot of interceptions. Who'd bet against Bud Clark's first NFL interception being from Carson Beck? Who knows? We'll see.
That's a great shot to call with that one. I wanted to stay on the Rams for just 1 second. Bump and I talked a lot about a take from Dan Orlovsky. I'm sure that you saw it, of him saying, if you think that, let's say, the average production of a rookie wide receiver is 52 receptions and 4 touchdowns, and if you think that that would have been the difference between this team getting to a championship or not, you're crazy. And I was thinking, I don't know, Dan, respectfully, you know more than I do. But I kind of think that with such a slim margin between both Seattle and LA, who very clearly were the two best teams in the NFL last season, especially, in that final run, the NFC Championship game, I don't blame Rams fans for thinking that maybe a dynamic receiver or maybe, getting McDuffie is huge. Like, maybe a great corner would have made the difference. Like, it is possible that one extra player there or like one improvement there could have made the difference. I don't think that's out of this world to think about.
Well, maybe Dan Orlovsky could ring his best friend and ask him how he would feel about having another receiver to throw to, because his best friend's with Matthew Stafford, and the argument is, well, they don't. I saw what's 50 catches and 4 touchdowns going to do? I don't think. Well, it can do quite a lot because Devontae Adams missed. He missed several games last season, and when he was out, you really missed him, and he's 34 years old, and I don't know if anybody checked, but Puka Nakuma's had quite an interesting off-season so far, and I'm not sure quite how reliable he is these days. So maybe having that extra receiver would have been a good thing. And you reached on a tight end at the end of round 2 in Max Clare because you didn't want to miss out on this crazy run of tight ends who had no business going in round 2 or round 3. So you've jumped on that bandwagon, but you could have had Kenyon Sadiq if you wanted. If you didn't want it to be a receiver, if you wanted it to be a tight end, you could have done that. And I've been talking about the Penn State guard, Venga Ione, who's just... he could be the best defensive lineman in the draft. You could have had him as well to protect the aging Matthew Stafford. Or you could have had Ruben Bain, have another defensive pass rusher to go and make some plays. So I'm not quite sure that cuts the mustard, but you do have to give the Rams a lot of credit. Their PR machine has been working overtime, and it's a little bit more effective than I think New England's has been over the last week.
I'm going to have to use that. I'm not sure if that cooks the mustard. I like that one. So going into this draft, I didn't think the Hawks needed a guy, right? You don't need someone to come in and be a starter right now. After the draft, I'll look at a few guys and I say, I could see 2 or 3 of these guys being starters. Which one of these guys do you feel like can make an immediate impact?
From the rookie class, I think there's multiple players who could have an immediate impact. Obviously, Jadarian Price. I think you have to set the ceiling here of go and try and be the offensive rookie of the year. Why not? Go and set that as your mission now. And if he starts and achieves what he's capable of, he will be in the mix with some of these receivers who were taken earlier. I would imagine that Carnell Tate will probably be the favorite just because he was drafted 4th overall. But Price will have a chance to do that. I think it'd be surprising if Bud Clark was not, at the very least, rotated in and out of the defense and had a role developed for him over time as a rookie. Julian Neal, I think the big thing with Julian Neal is they've been able to replace the length that they lost with Reet Woolen. And he's somebody who can come in now. There's a lot of reps there that Woolen is like leaving you because he's moved on to Philadelphia. And he will compete now to try and get those reps. And I like the look of him. He is somebody who he's the kind of player that in a few years' time, you just wonder, why was he available at the very end of round 3? He's got that kind of vibe to him. So they're the main ones. The guys that they've taken after that, Bo Stevens will have to compete for the job. He's not going to be given that, but he will have an opportunity to compete with Anthony Bradford, you would imagine. And we'll see how he gets on. And then the other guys, you've got a special teamer, a couple of cornerbacks who provide depth and competition, and you've got a defensive lineman who can do the same. But it's really those sort of main 3 players, isn't it? You can imagine them having a decent impact with the top 2 picks, Price and Clark in particular, maybe able to do something this year.
I was a bit surprised not to see them at an edge rusher when you were watching, Rob, with the way the draft was falling. A, did that make sense to you? And B, what are their options now for edge?
They've got to go and sign somebody. They will do. I think everybody expects that. We all know by now that they had a chat with Dante Fowler, and there are others like Von Miller out there who could be on option 2. I think the thing that I'm interested to know, though, is are they going to do anything bigger than that? Because this is a team right in the middle of a championship window now. And before the draft, if you ring anybody up for trade conversations, you're saying, well, we can offer the 32nd pick. And then there are 31 other teams in the NFL, or 30 if you're trying to do a deal with somebody, saying, well, we can offer more than that. We've got a higher pick in the draft. All of those picks reset now. So for 2027, which is a better draft, your pick is not lesser in value than Philadelphia's, Baltimore's, Kansas City's, LA's, San Francisco's. They're all worth the same. And all of the contenders will expect to be at the top and pick 32nd overall. So there's no real difference there. And I just wonder, it doesn't have to be in the near future, but when we get to camp, when you get to that trade deadline, are they going to be aggressive again? Are they going to go big game hunting? Are they going to look for that extra pass rusher? So my guess would be that someone is going to come in the next few days to fill a void for the here and now, probably Dante Fowler. I think that's the one. And then down the line, is there something bigger on the horizon? Will they go and make a deal to bring in a pass rusher? That's what I'm going to be keeping my eye on between now and the trade deadline when that season begins.
Who had the best draft in your opinion?
For me, it was Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think, the one thing that I think the other team should have learned from Seattle. They are the Super Bowl champions. They're the ideal team to go, okay, well, how do we mimic some of what they did? And the Buccaneers went out and they get Reuben Bay. Now, you can talk all day about the arm length of Reuben Bay, and it may well be an issue for him. I don't think he's ever going to be a 15-sack guy. He's not Myles Garrett, so he's never going to be that kind of a player. But the one thing he's going to give you is power and strength and violence off the edge. You know what you're going to get every single week from Reuben Bay. And then they follow it up by going and getting Josiah Trotter in the second round, who is just another physical, violent, 100% football. You know what you're going to get player at linebacker to fill they're two major needs that they needed to fill. They get a receiver in Hurst in round 3 who there's something there with him, and they needed to bring a receiver in because of the Mike Evans departure, and Godwin's had some injuries. They needed to bring somebody in there. And then there were other picks as well that I thought that were really impressive. So although everyone's given the A grades to all of the teams who picked twice and even 3 times in the case of the Jets in round 1 or had multiple second-round picks, I think the Buccaneers are the team that have taken the biggest step forward, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the time we get to November, let's say, the Buccaneers are maybe a team that, from a Seahawks perspective, we're looking at them and going, they're going to be a challenge. If we have to play them at some point, they might be a tough out.
I think there were a few Seahawks fans a bit surprised to see a third cornerback taken with this class. That Mike McDonald clearly wanted it, not only wanted it that way, but specifically told reporters afterwards, you can never have too many. It's a position where you can never have too many. What do you think he meant by that, and why does he in particular value having those extra DBs?
I think he knows that in Carl Scott and also with his staff, Adam Durdy and Mike McDonald himself, that they have done a very good job so far, have been able to develop secondary players. Now, that hasn't necessarily been the case with DJ James and Nehemiah Pritchett yet. It may still be the case of Pritchett. Let's not completely write him off. He's going to get maybe opportunities himself to compete this year. But look at what they've done with Josh Jobe. Look at what they've done to get Tyre Carter ready to start. And you could see that real improvement from him week to week to week during the season. Nick Warri's come in and has been really good as a rookie. And Julian Love's continued to play very well. So there's a lot of positive things that have happened there. And they probably think if we can get these guys in and get them into our system and get our coaches, get their hands on them, that maybe we can create better depth than we've had in the past at cornerback, because it did feel they were a little bit light on the position there the last couple of years. So now they've got 3 guys coming in. I thought Andre Fuller was, again, take it for the grain of salt that you can, but on my board I had him as a 4th rounder. And they get him in round 6. There's something there. That was one of the things that I wrote about Andre Fuller. There is something here to develop. And I had a quick look at Michael Dansby over the weekend. And likewise, he is tight in coverage. There are sort of plays there that you think there's something here for this staff to get their hands on and work with. So it is going to be interesting to see how this works out, because that is one of the areas where they're a little bit thin. They can get a bit more depth there, and they can survive some injuries and get some competition going. That's going to be a great thing for next year.
I know that you all want to have more of Rob's takeaways from the Seahawks draft class, 8 new Seattle Seahawks. So make sure you go to SeahawksDraftBlog.com. Rob also takes a look at kind of what are the next steps, what's next for the Seattle Seahawks in his latest SeahawksDraftBlog.com. He is Rob Staton. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Go Cougs.
Thank you. Go Cougs.
Bye. As a reminder, all of our draft pick profiles are powered by Home Comfort Alliance. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, rewrite!
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news.
Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services.
With Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, contrary to reports, Rams quarterback Ty Simpson says he did meet with Sean McVay prior to the draft. He just did it in secret. What's the real headline?
Maybe Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini should take some notes. Got to meet in secret. Earlier for Hype Train, we were...
That's what you mean.
Yeah, earlier in Hype Train, we were joking about whether or not this really happened. From ESPN Radio's Amber and Ian, Ty said, we tried to keep this under wraps as long as we could. It was something where I knew they were interested, but they wanted to make it private and didn't want people to know they were interested. I had some secret meetings with Coach McVay. I was just trying to be on script and do what everyone told me to, not tell everyone. It was something to where I knew they were interested. I just didn't know when.
See, and he rolled the dice showing up, too, for the draft. You know, he could have been one of those guys who were disappointed. What was it? D lineman from Ohio State. Thought he was going to go first round. He went second round. But if this is true, they kept it on the low. They did a great job, man, because paparazzi's everywhere. I bet you they didn't meet in L.A. Bet you they met somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because McVay can't go anywhere in L.A.
Nowhere. Definitely nowhere. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Steelers have placed a rare right of first refusal tender on Aaron Rodgers. They can match any offer sheet he might sign with another team. What's the real headline?
It's going to be weird when another team's first offer to Aaron is 6 pounds of ayahuasca and a bag of crystals. That's
I might
quite
get
the
him
offer.
to sign.
Quite the offer.
I like to envision like a Burger King bag of crystals.
Yeah. And what about this? Grunk. Table shakes. The tag is rarely used, and it's not actually right of first refusal as we would kind of imagine it to, despite my joke about it. So Rodgers can actually sign with any other team, Bump, right now, even if they offer less. But if he leaves the Steelers, get a comp pick. It also guarantees if he does sign with the Steelers, the 10% raise over last year. Where it gets kind of tricky is after July 22nd. So let's say that Aaron Rodgers, after getting this tag, is like, well, whatever, Steelers, I don't want to play there. I'm still deciding. Maybe I want to wait until the season starts. So let's say we're in week 5 and I don't know, pick a quarterback, any quarterback. Geno goes down and the Jets reach out. Hey, Aaron. We've done this once before, but would you be interested? Well, now the Steelers, because it's post July 22nd, actually do have exclusive negotiating rights. So if that happens, even though he hasn't played for Pittsburgh at all, the Jets would have to trade for him. So it becomes kind of tricky after July. So what this is like Aaron could still go anywhere, but this would make things interesting if he decides to wait this out.
Aaron, there's your attention that you wanted. Here you go.
Congrats.
You got it, buddy.
You finally got it.
Make
We're
a
proud of
decision,
you.
please, so we can get over this. Just go to Pittsburgh, man. Come on, stop messing around. Then they getting this Michael Pittman over there too. Like they're trying to get you some weapons over there. Expectations are still pretty low with this team. I don't know what McCarthy's going to look like coaching the squad, but you got 2 number 1 receivers. They went and got Jeremy Bernard, also from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
You got a core. Now I just got to make something of it.
What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, the Phillies have become the second team to fire their manager this week, dismissing Robbie Thompson from the job. Don Mattingly will serve as the interim. What's the real headline?
Guess it isn't too early anymore. Not with back-to-back firings in the East. ALNL, obviously, but Alex Cora on the move. Bob Nightingale reporting Cora was actually offered the Phillies job before they named Don Mattingly interim coach.
What's awkward about that is that the Phillies GM is Don's son.
Bump, it's a reverse Nepo baby.
So
it is.
You're like, hey, Dad, we want to offer you the job. You weren't our first choice, but hey, you're not busy, right?
Okay, Bump, are we officially, not just because of these firings, are we officially at the it's not too early anymore, or are we still too early?
It's not too early if you have the payroll that Philly has.
That's
that
fair.
The Mets have, the Yankees, Toronto, LA. Like those dudes, they're paying to win right now. I don't care who the skip is. They want to win right now. So the chemistry must be off somehow. It ain't too early for them, but it is for us.
When's our cutoff?
We said like June, didn't we? Well, that's what you said. You said June.
It'd be like Memorial Day.
Memorial
which is
Day?
basically the start
How
of
about
June,
my birthday?
Of course.
Which is
why not
around Memorial Day? Yeah.
Well, no, it's May 31st. It's not Memorial Day.
No, I said
And
it's
not
around
here.
Memorial Day. There you go,
3
not
days.
listening to us again.
Yeah. That's you.
This is you. Huh?
Why are you laughing so hard at that? Matt's not even looking up right now. He's like red.
Active listener Stacy.
Look, I have nothing to add. I simply have nothing to add. Sam Darnold was a guest on the San Clemente podcast and gave insight into how last year's Seahawks were able to become Super Bowl champs. Plus, some TV ratings from the NFL draft are in. It will not surprise you that they were insane. What I need to know is coming up at 12:45 because the dugout's from 1 to 2. So get your questions in right now to the text line 866-979-3776. That's coming up at 12:45. Shannon Drayer joining us for the dugout at 1. NFL headlines coming up next.
For the best insider analysis,
Bumpus and Wyman, the floor is yours. This is who you wanted.
Yeah, this is the guy I wanted.
Lock in at SeattleSports.com.
The Seattle Seahawks select Jadarian Price.
There it is.
Notre Dame.
The home run picks.
He kind of stood alone. Great player.
And what's next as John Schneider, Mike McDonald, and the Seahawks put together the crew that'll defend the Lombardi Trophy.
They don't draft for need. They draft the best available players.
It's only at SeattleSports.com.
I have great news. It's going to be gorgeous this week. Sunny skies, highs in the 70s, and you deserve to be out on the water. So do what I did and book a demo with Arc Boats. It's super easy. It's arcboats.com/demo. Do it now. The Arc Sport is where you're going to be going out on the water in. It's a fully electric wake boat from Arc, and you can book a demo to go for a ride. Why wouldn't you? If you're someone who already loves taking your boat out on the water, or if you're in the market for a new one, I am warning you, though, you're going to fall in love with the Arc Sport. It's sleek. It's easy to operate, practically no maintenance because it's electric, so there's no winterization, no oil changes, and it means you can be on the water right away. Charging it up is super easy, and the software actually improves with time. You really have to see and experience this boat for yourself, though, so do it. Book a demo. It's easy. They'll pick you up on Lake Washington, Lake Union, or Lake Sammamish if you can't come to them in Kirkland. Go to arcboats.com/demo. Fill out the form, and you'll be out on the water. Arc, you have to see it to believe it.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
There's not one car deal that is worth ruining an experience for a customer. That just is really what is instilled.
The Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Hewitt here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got 3 options. Number 1, sell your home. 2, get a HELOC or refinance. Or 3, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
Hey, Mike Salk here with Dr. Coogan from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. And Doc, what do you say to people who are considering those GLP-1 injections for weight loss?
Before you start, ask yourself this. Are you prepared to spend $3,000 to $5,000 per year and stay on the medications long-term to maintain the results? Many prescription weight loss injections require weekly shots, and when the medication is stopped, weight gain is common. And most people don't realize research shows a significant portion of the weight lost can come from muscle, which may slow your metabolism and make keeping the weight off even harder.
From personal experience, I can tell you Eastside Weight Loss Clinic takes a different approach, a doctor-developed program helping people lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days.
No injections, no synthetic hormones, no long-term dependence. Instead, we use real food to reset your metabolism, control hunger, and cravings naturally.
So come to their clinic in Kirkland or do the program from anywhere you live with easy remote options. If you want a safe, affordable alternative to weight loss injections,
go to eastsideweightlossklinic.com to keep the weight off for good.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Mariners and Twins tonight in Minneapolis. First pitch at 4:40, 3:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
This is the story of the one.
As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, but we are going to start with the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold was a guest on the San Clemente podcast. It gave insight into how the Seahawks were able to become Super Bowl champs. First, we've heard about walk and talks, and Sam admitted he was a little skeptical about them.
I think these walk and talks where we're hanging out with each other helped a lot.
Mm-hmm. Were they did you feel forced at the beginning?
At the beginning, for sure.
This is stupid.
At the beginning, I know
you got these set of questions, but then I would imagine that
there was a little bit of me that felt that way, for sure. And I think that's just human nature. I think I was just witnessed San Francisco, we never did that with the 49ers, and we ended up going to the Super Bowl. So I was like, we don't have to do this to make it, but we did it in our own way. And Coach Mike and his staff, especially Coach Mike, he had a thing that he wanted to do and a mission that he was on, and he committed to it. And he committed to that message of delivering it to the players. And we really, as players, we took it and ran with it. And I think that's where, as a coach, that's where you become really proud of the team that you've kind of created.
What did Mike McDonald want to accomplish with his walk and talks?
It's connection, getting to know guys on a deeper level, because typically in a NFL locker room, you stick to your guys, not necessarily, your position groups, but guys who are like you. When I was in the league, a bunch of Cali dudes, we all hung out together. We all grew up around the same area and talked about the same things. He was trying to break down those walls and kind of force relationships, and it ended up happening for him. When about 7 years ago, Jen forced me to hang out with this dude. He's a chiropractor. He did work on our athletes. She's like, you guys like golf? Just go golf. I'm like, man, I don't want to do this.
She gave you a list of questions?
And golf with him all the time now, 7 years later. That's my dog. So it just, men have issues sometimes being vulnerable with each other and just opening up to different things. And I think that's what happened with McDonald, and they love each other, man. It worked out.
That's very cool. He also talked about how helpful it was to have older guys on the team.
And they're not just older guys that just keep their head down and go to work. They're trying to pick guys up and lead by example, and they lead vocally as well. But it's so special to have a group like that where you can have this leadership, or we all meet with Mike, and maybe Mike delivers a message and we're we weren't necessarily feeling that one, or Mike delivers a message, which is what usually happens, and we're like, oh dude, we really liked what you said there. I think you can just continue to hammer that home with the guys. And then now you have guys in the locker room where you might get one guy from a position group who's a rookie. He's like, man, what is Mike talking about with that? And then you have older guys that are like, bro, this is what he's talking about. This is what will help us win. Like, shut up and just do your job. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, to have older guys that are, that want to win and do things the right way, like that's incredibly helpful.
I thought that was a really cool thing to hear, Bump, for multiple points. One is Seattle got a little bit of flack. You and I remember this when they signed Cooper Kupp and DeMarcus Lawrence. A lot of the national guys were like, I'm not really jazzed about these two additions. Like, what's Coop going to give you 1,000 yards?
Yeah.
Is DeMarcus Lawrence going to get 10 sacks? And it's like, well, first of all, they both had great years, Lawrence especially. But also, this is the stuff that the Seahawks knew that they'd be able to do.
You heard that clip after the Hawks won the Super Bowl was official. JSN goes up to Cooper Kupp and says, I could not have done this without you. That's why you bring guys like Cooper Kupp along.
Yep. And then one more here. When he could tell the Seahawks were a special team.
I think a few weeks into training camp, once we got into competing, and then, honestly, we had a joint practice with the Packers, who obviously we know a lot of the guys on their team, pretty good offense, pretty good defense as well. And, just to the way that we competed against them in that joint practice later on in training camp, I think that was when I realized the kind of team, the potential that we have, because obviously in the NFL, you got to take it 1 week at a time. Sure. If you don't, the NFL will, chew you up and spit you right out. So it was a process, as it always is, but I could kind of tell we had a special team.
Now, Bump, I thought that was fascinating, because if you were to ask me, when did it feel like the Seahawks were special or could win a Super Bowl, I'd be like, week 16, maybe Thursday night, that win over the Rams. This is Sam saying, that joint practice with the Packers.
Yeah, Paul Moyer and I do Hawks Live during the season on Thursdays, and we interview a player every week. And we've asked several players that question, when did you realize? Mm-hmm. And they all say training camp.
No.
All of them say training camp. So, I mean, you feel it. When you're around something special, when the communication is on point, when the competition's at a high level, you're pushing the edge. Like, you're pushing each other to that point to where it's almost disrespectful to each other because it's competition, but it's not. Like, you're gauging each other. What can I get away with this guy? And just feeling the whole dynamic of the team. Sometimes you just know.
So is that what you're looking for? Like, if you're a player and you're like, okay, these are good signs. Is it like towing the line?
Yeah. A good team can compete at the highest level of practice, be borderline disrespectful to each other, verbally, physically, taking care of each other physically. It's NFL.
Right.
But pushing it and still be cool afterwards, and knowing that this type of competition, this level of intensity, is only going to help us out. Now, immature teams will fight all the time, and you stop talking about me like that. It's just different. It's immature. But grown men competing can, I'm telling you, push it to that limit to where you might want to throw hands.
Yeah.
As soon as the whistle's blown, it's over.
Very cool. The TV ratings and attendance numbers from the NFL draft are in. Despite a lack of hype, the draft was still the third most watched draft ever. 13.2 million viewers of the first round, and over 800,000 fans attended parts of all 3 days in Pittsburgh. The NFL just continues to clean up no matter what they do. They could start broadcasting, I don't know, add one more thing to the calendar, and a million people would show up.
Yeah, they were a bit ambitious a few years ago. They said they wanted the draft to be like, office races for president or whatnot, to where stations cut what they're doing and say, all right, with the third pick, we got so-and-so. A bit ambitious, NFL. A bit ambitious, but whatever you're doing, it's working so far.
Yeah.
But they're not bringing that up again.
Could Mike Vrabel be on the hot seat for his controversial relationship with former reporter Diana Rossini that's engulfed the Patriots offseason? The latest here from Adam Schefter.
Well, I think there's obviously a lot of pressure on him. But if you're asking, do I think that Patriots are moving on from him or making a head coaching change anytime soon? No, I do not. Now, should there be additional information that surfaces? Should there be further embarrassing incidents? Then the equation gets changed. But last week, when on draft night, Mike Vrabel called a conference for 7:20 Eastern, 40 minutes before the start of the NFL draft, and there were people asking me if he was resigning or being fired or whatever. Like, I don't believe that that's a conversation at all.
The most common question that I see on Twitter and in conversations about this too, whether it's a debate about how he should or a question about whether he will, Adam Schefter answering it bluntly. No, as of right now, Vrabel's not in danger of losing his job.
If there's any league to do what Vrabel did,
an indiscretion,
it's the NFL. I mean, we got owners and coaches have done it before. It's just the culture's different. I don't think that they I think it's frowned upon, I think, by the majority of people in the league, majority of leaders. But there's been so much that has happened throughout the course of the NFL that they kind of don't sweep it under the rug, but they're saying, look, man, he's still our guy. He still shows up for work. He's still coaching our dudes. He's not a threat to society. He just jacked up his family.
Former 49ers wide receiver Juwan Jennings remains unsigned as a free agent, but he'll visit with the Vikings this week. My question for you, Bump, isn't necessarily whether the Seahawks should sign him, but how do you feel about the Seahawks wide receiver room as is? Do you expect them to continue to add in free agency?
I like it as is. I think you have your top three. You got Bobo, and now you have Henderson, who's going to compete as well. I mean, if you bring in another guy, who do you push out? You're probably pushing out or challenging Torrey Horton, because we know Shaheed's going nowhere. I mean, you got Cooper Kupp, goodness gracious, you got Jason.
Solid.
There's not a lot of room, not a lot of targets there. So I could see them doing it, but how aggressive? They're not going after a Debo or a Tyreek Hill or anything like that.
Yeah. We are going all Mariners from 1 to 2 for the dugout. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer is joining us from Minnesota at 1. A couple questions about Luis Castillo to start. Coming up at 1:30, Ryan Rowland-Smith is going to join us. And one of the most popular questions we got from listeners to begin the show, Bump, was, okay, well, should Luis Castillo use a changeup more? Like, what kind of changes could Luis do that would involve him, like, remaining with the Mariners since the trade feels so unlikely? How do you fix a problem with this starter? We're going to ask Ryan Rowland-Smith at 1:30. Alex Mayer joining us at 1:45. Before we get to any of that, it's what I need to know. So send your question, any question, sports, non-sports, does not matter, right now. 866-979-3776.
Wyman and Bob, every afternoon at 2.
They needed a cornerback. We talked about that going into the draft. They drafted 3 of them. Bud Clark, he told us, hey, I can play nickel, I can play corner, I can play safety. The same thing with Julian Neal, too. I mean, he's 6'2", 200. As far as giving out a grade, I don't know. What would you say, B+?
If you're going on addressing needs, I'd give him an A.
Yeah.
Now, are these guys all going to pan out? No. I hope those top 3 picks are going to be impact guys.
Only on Seattle Sports.
You're losing your hair, and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Doctors King and Copstein from K2 Vision.
If you're over 50 and you've been diagnosed with a cataract, or your vision is changing as you're developing an early cataract, you could be a perfect candidate for K2 Vision RLE.
It's inevitable. At some point, typically in your 60s or 70s, you'll have a dysfunctional lens that eventually becomes a cataract. To restore your vision, you will someday need a procedure such as refractive lens exchange.
The question is, are you done with glasses? Do you want to spend your good, active years hassling with changing prescriptions and needing readers?
K2 Vision RLE can give you great vision now, permanently, and you'll never develop that cataract. The procedure is quick and painless, and our state-of-the-art custom lens technologies give highly predictable outcomes.
K2 Vision doctors have performed over 150,000 procedures. They know when it's your right time for RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consult today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place. With People Come First.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Mariners and Twins tonight in Minneapolis. First pitch at 4:40, 3:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job. I lost my wife. I lost the house. I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found Tax Relief Advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio. I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now, that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. What I need to know. I have 12 and 6-year-old sons. Most of the time I feel like I'm talking to the wall. Bump, how do you stay patient with someone who doesn't have the best listening skills?
Repeat yourself calmly.
Wow.
With your kids, repeat yourself calmly, and then you give them the, hey! And then you give them the dad look. And you sit them down, look deep into their souls. You speak calmly but sternly, and good luck from there.
Bump, what I need to know. I have 12 and 6-year-old sons. Most of the time I feel like I'm just kidding. I don't think my listening's awful. If I were to grade it, it's not an A, but it's not an F.
No, it's not. It's fine.
Thank you.
Satisfactory.
That's a C+. Okay, you guys are a little quiet, suspiciously quiet. What I need to know. I've been laughing all day at the promo featuring the fire alarm yesterday where Wyman's blamed for his scented candles. If each of you were blamed for starting a fire, what would be the cause?
Ironically, mine would be scented candles. I like scented
candles. Love a scented candle.
I do.
Classic burning popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like popcorn, and also I'm big on overcooking things. So it would make sense that you just listen until there's no more pops, but sometimes that means it burns. I truly don't know how long you cook popcorn for. I go by feel.
You go by feel.
They print the time on the bag.
They print the time on the bag usually. Well, you don't always know if that's
classic
right.
Reading comprehension. I thought you were a double major.
I was a double major. And past
You
all
didn't
4
major in
sections of the
following
wassail.
directions.
Okay. Okay. What would you start a fire with?
Probably cooking.
Yeah. That checks out. Matt, your takes?
Probably not.
Okay.
My apartment is full of books. If you light a single match in there, it's over.
Done. Okay. Well, now that we know how Matt might die, 866-979-3776. Bump with Brian Fleury as OC. Could we see Robbie Oots used more like the 49ers use Kyle Juszczyk?
Let me remind you, Oots is no Juszczyk. Juszczyk is a unique type of fullback, but I would assume that there's more fullback play. I think if Oots doesn't get hurt last year and the development isn't slowed down, you'd probably see him more anyway.
What's on your morning commute playlist, says one listener. We talked about playlists a lot today.
I'll listen to Brock and Salk headed to the gym. Then I'll listen to a little bit to it on my way, and I switch over to like ESPN, First Take, Get Up, random podcast.
What I need to know. I love Julio. He's clearly a great player, but I think his Gold Glove defense is almost completely due to athleticism and not his defensive instincts. Last night I saw him leaping for and missing a ball where there was no reason to leap. Do you think as he ages and is no longer as athletically gifted that he'll have a dramatic decrease in his defense?
So we talking like 7 years from now or something like that?
He's
barely
25.
Yeah.
Isn't part, you need good instincts and to read things well, but like athleticism's kind of part of being a great center fielder too.
Yeah.
And I also feel like that does unfortunately take away from a lot of what Julio does and just kind of assume that anything great he does is purely based on something that he controls. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the idea of taking away from like baseball IQ and just going, oh, good athlete.
Well, your best like sprinting lateral movement over 20-yard athletes are typically in the outfield at center field specifically.
Am I reading it wrong? I don't see Julio as like not a natural center fielder.
I've seen him make some mistakes.
Sure.
But that's going to happen. It's not going to be perfect back there.
He's still probably the best center fielder in baseball.
Yeah.
Even at his worst days. So
I don't agree with that,
I think
listener.
the concerns are a little overblown.
Yeah. And also at any of those positions, whether it's catcher, shortstop, center fielder, like, eventually you'll move.
Yeah.
Like the toll that it's going to take on your body. Eventually Cal's going to be at first and DHing. Eventually JP is going to be like a second baseman somewhere. Eventually Julio's going to be put in one of the corner outfield spots. Like, it's just going to eventually happen for most guys. So I don't see it as
he's fine.
Maybe I'm wrong. 866-979-3776. What I need to know, I think San Clemente Pier is one of the best places on the West Coast. What's your favorite, they said coastal location in the West. I'll just say, what's your favorite place on the West Coast?
San Diego.
San Diego's
La Jolla.
gorgeous.
Carlsbad.
I think San Diego might take it.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. I will say, and I'm sorry to Seattle, Portland's food scene is admittedly better. Like, I don't think that's all hype and just something people say. I think, unfortunately, it is better.
It's good, yeah.
It's really freaking good. Bump, they said dating. I think they mean yelling. Suffocation, no breathing like that is the funniest thing I've heard on here in a long time.
You know, when the music speaks to you, you respond.
That's exactly what happens. 866-979-3776. What I need to know, Luis Castillo could be a really useful piece in the bullpen. Then they also said, Bump, would you mind if I crash on your couch for a few weeks while I get back on my feet?
Sure.
We've had a lot of people also complaining that there's a popcorn setting on the microwave, to which I'll say that's
they're not complaining,
always,
they're pointing it out.
Well, I just don't think that we need to judge how other people cook their popcorn. If I have yet to badly mess up popcorn.
You said you burn it.
I said it would be the likeliest thing I would do to start a fire.
Oh.
And
so
I said,
you've done it before.
I've done it before, but not even badly, because I think that I just have a good feel for knowing when popcorn's done.
You got a good feel. You just know ball.
Much like Julio, I'm natural. He's a natural center fielder, and I naturally know when food is done cooking.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
Truly. Let's see. Is there a limit to, we talked about Luis possibly to the IL. Is there a limit to an IL stint length where a pitcher or player can do rehab stints, as in Castillo?
Curtis question.
Curtis, they wanted you to talk about the limit to IL stints for pitchers.
15 days is the shortest, and then 60 days is the most concerning.
I actually love this question from Joe. Which host or producer would be most likely to push someone down during a fire drill to save themselves?
Dang.
I
don't think anyone would.
I don't think anyone would. But I'll say this. Yesterday, Bump, I noticed Curtis grabbed his backpack.
No, I did not.
No, hang on.
I didn't have anything
Curtis
on me.
left us here to die.
It wasn't that.
To burn and die.
So I left the room.
And he did not come back.
Nah.
And
so I left the room to ask,
I,
hey, what's the protocol? And then as soon as I left the room, they're like, you got to get out of here. And I'm like, okay, well, they'll figure it out.
No, because what I would have done is I would have said.
Godspeed to my comrades.
Absolutely not. I would have said, not without my friends. Not without my friends, Kath.
Kath.
And then I
wasn't trying to be a hero yesterday.
And then I would have ducked through Kyle's legs. I just sort of ran through him, and I would have sprinted back here, and I would have saved you guys. And I would have said, "Follow me." That's not true. That's not true.
Oh, okay.
Stop laughing at everything Curtis said.
I'm just saying. I could see that.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Dugout coming your way next. It's great.
Cal stays on his heater with another bomb.
That is destroyed. Cal Raleigh, a massive homer.
But the Twins nab the opener, ending the Mariners' 4-game win streak. Tonight, Logan Gilbert's on the mound for the M's, looking to get a new streak going.
A vicious splitter. Logan Gilbert lets out a yell.
Mariners Twins, 4:40 first pitch, 3:30 pregame. Listen free wherever you are. Only on one place, the Seattle Sports app.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. Still here helping men with ED and Peyronie's disease in 2026. Our clinics have helped thousands of men in the last 8 years just like you. Most guys tell me that in their early 50s, they started using Viagra. It worked for 3 or 4 years and then tapered off. That's because Viagra is not a curative medication. It's a short-term solution. Our wave therapy breaks down the plaque in the arteries and increases blood flow without using any medication, with proven long-lasting results. Our treatments are so successful that we have some men driving up to 5 hours just to get treated every week, and our 4.9 average star rating on Google proves it. So whether it's ED, Peyronie's disease, or low testosterone, West Coast Men's Health has the answers you're looking for.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy. Call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Celebrate Mom with Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's Mother's Day weekend giveaway. You could win one of 100 designer handbags filled with prizes on Saturday, May 9th and Sunday, May 10th. Don't forget to book a stay at the new hotel. It's awesome. Elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Head to snocasino.com for details. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Meet the company electrifying the marine industry. ARC, a fully electric boat that feels like a luxury EV. Significantly less maintenance and service, ARC boats are easy to operate and maintain. Go to arcboats.com/demo. ARC, you have to see it to believe it.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found tax relief advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio. I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now, that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The throw to first, and it's in time. Holy smokes, what a play by J.P. Crawford.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But if you're looking for a truly golden view, look no further than the seats on the first baseline, a.k.a. Trident-Town. Post up behind the Mariners dugout, and you get a great view of Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, and our entire rotation at work.
Swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs, blew it by him, strike 3.
Not to mention the best view of the best home run celebration in baseball. When the Trident goes up, you know a party's going down.
And it's gone! Julio!
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
With Mariners value games, you can score seats for less than $12 on select dates all season long, including the upcoming series against the Braves, Monday, May 4th through Wednesday, May 6th. Go to mariners.com/value to get your tickets and check out the full slate of value options, featuring the biggest ever Mariners value menu available every game.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Another coaching change in the East, this time in the NL. The last place Phillies have fired manager Rob Thompson after a 9-19 start to the season. Bench coach Don Mattingly has been named interim manager through the end of the year. The news came just a day after the Red Sox fired manager Alex Cora and 4 other coaches. According to USA Today's Bob Nightingale, the Phillies offered Cora the managerial job before Mattingly, but Cora declined.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is The Dugout, taking you inside your Seattle Mariners.
Swing and a miss, and he got him with a slider.
Presented by Top Fitness.
On the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Swing and a shot over the bag at first, fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single.
Time to grab a seat and talk Mariners baseball in The Dugout.
You are listening to The Dugout, all Mariners from 1 to 2. Joining us now, Mariners insider Shannon Drayer on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Shannon, how's it going?
It's better today. The sun is shining, no sign of raindrops, and so hopefully we'll try again tonight.
Just a do-over. In fact, there wasn't a game yesterday. Right? I don't know if people knew that. It's crazy. No, I wanted to ask you to start about Luis Castillo. It's how we started the show earlier today, and I think that what Bump and I talked about most is the different options the team has with Castillo. And by that, I mean, how do you, with a guy that's a veteran who's been there, tweak his approach? And I feel like that answer is way above my pay grade. So I thought I would ask you, when you hear Dan kind of hint at we'll make some changes, what does he mean in terms of Castillo's arsenal or how he's pitching?
I don't know, because it's not like Luis Castillo is going to add another pitch in the middle of the season.
Right.
You know, he has not been. He's not one of those players who experiments with pitches. So it's not like it's something he's going to work on a bullpen and then just bring it into a game. You could maybe try and revive a pitch and try and get the changeup to a place where he's confident in using it more. But I think what he really needs to look at, his bread and his butter. And, that's the fastball and that's the slider. And the fastball last year was good for him. And it was, I think, what kept him in most of the games. And he knew he needed to get a little bit more velocity on it, because when it dips below 95, that's when it starts getting hit more. We saw that velocity in spring training. We're not seeing it as much now. We didn't see it last night, but you hate to make any kind of excuses, but weather is a legitimate excuse. The velocity was down for both starters yesterday, about 1.5 miles an hour, and I think that's easily to attribute to the conditions, both the weather and the mound conditions. So I'm going to, give him a pass on that, but he's got to be consistent with that velocity over 95 miles an hour, and he also needs to be better with his command. If he can spot the fastball better, that's going to help him. That's what helped him last year. That's what helped him do a lot of the results that he had last year. And, he's also struggling a little bit because the secondaries have not been as sharp. And so I think you are seeing hitters right now really sit on that fastball, knowing that they can do damage with it, knowing that he's made more mistakes this year. So I think in terms of what he's doing, I think it's just getting a little bit sharper out there.
Hey, Shannon, just 30 games in, but when you look at this lineup, right, say the best lineup that Dan puts out there, in your opinion, the best lineup, what do you like, what don't you like, and what do you think is missing?
With the lineup currently?
Yes.
I think that you're looking at a lefty and a righty lineup, and the lineup that has been facing the righties has had more success than the one that has been facing the lefties. I think it's also important to remember right now it is missing a key part in Brendan Donovan. I think that's the biggest thing that it needs right now, and hopefully you see him when we get home. We don't have an update on where he's at right now, but I am encouraged by what we have seen. Again, take last night out of it from the start of the last homestand. From the start of the last homestand as a lineup, and this is left and right, the Mariners had the third best average. We're talking from the 17th up until yesterday. So their average, and this was up and down the lineup and seeing a bunch of ones and whatnot, was 284. Their slugging was up to 471 in that time, which is sixth best. And their K rate was at 21%, which has been pretty good for this team. Anytime you can get it around 20, with the sluggers that you have got in the lineup, that's good. And I think you're looking at some individual performances that have come around. You've really seen Cal Raleigh come around. I think it is crazy to look at him today and look at where he was 2 weeks ago and to see that he has 7 home runs in the month of April. And for all that we talk about, he could never hit 60 again. He's not far off the pace right now that he had for the entire season. In terms of the month where he had the few home runs last year, he only had 8. He is 1 away from that right now, which would at least get him in the game of still doing something spectacular with that number. But you know what? That's not important. It's important to the whole function of the lineup and how he contributes to that. So I'm just having a little bit of fun with that, but just pointing at how quickly he got there after it looked like an absolute lost cause for the first couple of weeks. But you're seeing what Josh Naylor has done to turn things around. That's the presence that you need in the middle of that lineup. Julio's coming along, and yet you still know there's so much more because he hasn't really tapped into his power yet. So let's say, Brendan Donovan, a little bit more power from Julio Rodriguez. And something that I've really been happy with in that time, and again, we're only talking about 10 days, but you hope this is them getting off the ground right now and not just, hey, this was a good week for them. What you've seen from the bench production, where they didn't have a pinch hit before the 22nd of the month, and then you've seen guys come off the bench with Dom Canzone, you have seen Rob Refsnyder, you have seen Connor Joe, all and even Leo Rivas, all coming off the bench with huge contributions on this road trip. So I'm pretty optimistic about what we're seeing in the lineup, and they're starting to get to where you expected them to be.
If you wanted to claim now, I think Cal's going to hit 60 again. We can always just go ahead and clip that. Okay. No, but I did want to ask you. Obviously, brought up it was really encouraging to see what Cal's doing, and just absolutely shocking to look at this home run total and then look at his lack of production and kind of slow start to begin the season for the first couple weeks there. What to you is the single biggest change in the Cal that we're seeing right now?
I think, honestly, taking a deep breath. I think that coming out of spring training and coming off the WBC, it wasn't the best place for him to start the season. You know, he had missed a full week of playing. He had missed over almost 3 weeks of being away from the team, and I think that was very hard for him. And I think just being able to catch up with everything, both for himself personally and for his pitching staff and what he does with that pitching staff, and you know, the responsibility that he takes in that, I think that he is finally to a place where I think things feel normal for him, and they didn't. And, you know, getting both swings right is big. We saw him just missing so many pitches that were in the middle, either missing them outright, not offering at them, or just not squaring them up. You feel better about where he is in his timing, his decision-making, and also just, you know, getting a better pitch to hit. I think his at-bats have been better. I think that what we have seen, the most important thing that we have seen for him is just time. He needed that time, and I think that he's just in a totally different place right now than he was, you know, even a week ago.
First time we saw Alex Hoppe last night, it was, I think they panned to his significant other in the crowd. She was excited. I was excited whenever you see, you know, a new guy out there. What'd you make of his performance?
I thought it was interesting. I think he came in a situation somewhat where you might expect a player to make his debut coming in that he was in a game that was already out of hand, but they brought him in a situation where the runners on first and second and one out, which I thought that was very unique and an opportunity too. And this team, you know, the game is probably gone at that point, but he's got an opportunity to shut down, and he did. The strikeouts, he struck out his first three, then was left in there a little bit longer. Then they started laying off that slider a little bit more, and then things started to unravel a little bit for him. But I think it was great to get that first one out of the way for him, to see that he did have some success and to see what did play, but also to see how quickly an adjustment could be made. He did kind of lost a little bit of command after he came back. And I don't know that, you know, it's a tough thing sometimes for a reliever, for the up and the down. And I think with the adrenaline that he had coming into the game, it being his first outing, I think a lot of that kind of played into what we saw. And he is a high energy guy from the limited time that we have been around him. So I'm very interested now to see him get into a routine and to see, you know, what does that look like now that he has got the first out of the way and he can just tackle the game the way he wants to. So I think that there's some really good tools there. I think the slider, when it was on, looked very good. Got some, you know, good fastball as well. Let's just see what happens and if he can maintain command.
Next time we talk to you for the dugout, it'll not only be in May, but we'll be talking about the Mariners back here at home. As we transition into the second month of the season, what are you watching for big picture with this team?
I think, you know, the same thing I'm watching for at this very moment, and that is, are we seeing the lineup start to come around? Are we starting to see them come along? And what we didn't see is really, you know, you hear about what Dan Wilson wants this lineup to do, what he wants their approach to be. We didn't see that the first few weeks. We didn't see them very much up the middle in a way. We saw them very much, you know, pull oriented. And I do think that so much of that was attributed to the struggles that they were having and the pressure that they were putting on themselves. Not the entire time, but there were definitely points in time where you saw it all build up and you saw guys doing things that were a little bit out of character. Now that I think things have smoothed out, evened out, I want to see them be able to maintain that now, you know, for long periods of time. You're going to have struggles. It's not all going to be roses all the time. How are they able to, as individuals and as a lineup? Because I do think what they do offensively is so lineup based. how do they pull out of them in a quicker manner? As we talked about Julio a couple of minutes ago, really interested to see is how do we see that power start to come along? He's taking his base hits right now. He's doing a good job at going the other way, but as a base hit, we're still not seeing him get the ball in the air as much as you would like to. And, these are all things that are very Julio specific. And for any player, what he was doing, an average player, what he was doing right now would be fantastic. All right, how do we get him to that next level? And how does he get to that next level? And, as it is with Cal, it probably takes a little bit of time. You don't just come right out of the gates and for the most part, start spraying balls all over the field, out of the ballpark in that situation. It's something that you build to. And Julio appears to be building to it. And you want to see him get to that. He's kind of in between the walk and the run right now. I think he's in the jog right now. You want to see him get to the run.
She is Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Thanks so much, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
Don't forget, you can download the Seattle Sports app to listen to every Mariners game on one app, and it's completely free. You can take the game with you on the go when you're out running errands, at Little League practice, on a hike, on the boat, wherever. The Seattle Sports app travels with you. You can enjoy every pitch of Rick Riz's final season all in one place at no cost. Did I mention it's free? It's the easiest way to enjoy Seattle Mariners baseball. Talking Mariners on the dugout. More coming your way next.
Cal stays on his heater with another bomb.
That is destroyed. Cal Raleigh, a massive homer.
But the Twins nab the opener, ending the Mariners' 4-game win streak. Tonight, Logan Gilbert's on the mound for the M's, looking to get a new streak going.
A vicious splitter. Logan Gilbert lets out a yell.
Mariners Twins, 4:40 first pitch, 3:30 pregame. Listen free wherever you are. Only on one place, the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And if you're looking for a spot to catch all the spring baseball and sports, I got a place for you. Hawks Peak Sports Bar and Grill. It's your home for game days with more than 60 TVs, so you won't miss a play. They got great food and drinks, and nothing beats the views. So get in on all the action at Hawks Peak. Head to snocasino.com for all the details. That's snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Upgrade your comfort and cut utility costs with Lake Washington Windows. Get 20% off energy-efficient windows and doors plus $1,000 off whole projects while taking 12 months to pay with no interest. Schedule your estimate by April 30th at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
The Johnsons always talk about an orientation meeting. Their dad and grandpa, they always maintain that it's a people business.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Back to the dugout on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
All right, let's talk about what we're watching for, not just in Game 2 of the series against the Twins and the series as a whole, but also in May. I figured that we could take the last question we asked Shannon about, all right, we're turning the page into May. We can no longer say, first couple weeks of the season, but like, what does it mean to watch the Mariners now? What are we watching for? So let's start with just a close look, Bump, at just Game 2 and the rest of this series. What's going to be catching your attention?
Game 2. I'm going to be looking. I mean, Cal's on a heater right now. I mean, he's on a roll. And I would love for him to continue to hit the ball hard and hit bombs. I don't expect bombs every game, but is this the Cal we can expect for the rest of this season? Well, let's start with the series. The rest of this series, I think we can. And like I said, I don't expect him to hit a bomb after bomb. I think a texture just wrote in he's got 5 in the last 7. So just the continue progression of Cal when it comes to him looking like the power hitter that we know this team needs.
Yeah, Cal's hitting 205 on the season so far. Obviously not where he wants to be, but isolated to the last 7, he's slashing 345, 406, 897. Those 5 home runs, a big part of that. And then expanded to the last 2 weeks, he's still hitting 258, which is above his career average, a little closer to, like, that would be a great season from Cal. If Cal could finish hitting 258 with 35-plus home runs, that's a phenomenal season. Yeah. And right now he's on track for 35-plus. TBD whether he gets to it, but I think that this is the version of Cal that people expected to see. A great one. You had been talking forever about wanting to watch that hard hit percentage, so I think that's my answer for both. I cheated a little bit, but my answer for the series, the rest of the series, and then my answer for May is watching that hard hit percentage. Seattle is a team a little bit better than that, than they were to start the season. And hard hit percentage, they're still around 26 overall, so we're watching for that to creep up. But I think that you can see, like, isolated to just the last week or so, that's been much better, in no small part because of Cal. So hard hit percentage / just slugging overall is just like a stat that I think people will be and should be tracking in May as things heat up a little bit for this team. Maybe watching Logan today. Logan, obviously the starter, but Bump, we talked endlessly about, like, if Logan can get back to adding those innings that he got in 2024, that would be great. And we haven't seen him staying as late into games. So
no, it's been a while. The last time we saw him put together a quality start was 3 starts ago against Houston when everybody named Mom was playing well.
Yeah, I had a home run against Houston.
You did, you had 2 actually.
I'll never forget it.
Against, I almost said it, the Rangers. I almost called them the Texans.
I do every time.
The Rangers. So yeah, seeing Logan Gilbert kind of bounce back. Last time we saw him, 4 innings pitched, 6 hit, 3 earned. Set down 3. Didn't really push it, right? We want him to get that QS, but pushing at least to 5 is the goal with all of these starters. So seeing Logan pretty much tell Castillo, I got your back. Don't worry about your outing. It was rough for you. You know what? I'm going to right the ship, and the bats are going to follow.
Yeah, I mean, Castillo, I look forward to talking with Ryan Rowland-Smith, who's joining us at 1:30, a bit more about Castillo and kind of like, what do you even do from here? We started the show by talking about really the team has 4 options. Trade him is one that gets brought up a lot, but you and I just don't think that's really feasible. Wait it out. Try to see if he can get right is kind of like where I tend to lean for this right now. What does get right look like? Outside of not allowing a ton of hits and runs, what does it actually mean for his arsenal and the pitches that he's using and leaning on? That's a question for Ryan in about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. Curtis, turning to you for kind of a roundtable style for this one. Same question for me and Bump, something that you're watching for, not just with the series, but also as we turn the clock and head into May here.
Yeah, I think you're not seeing as many guys who we've all kind of deemed as stars living up to that billing yet. I mean, Cal's getting there. He's definitely your hottest bat in the lineup and has been so for about 2 weeks now. If you take Cal's sample size over the last 2 weeks, like, that's an all-star level player. It just stinks that the first 3 weeks of the season he did hardly anything. But, you know, Julio with the home run in St. Louis, that was a welcome sight to see. Naylor's got his batting average up over 200, but you need your stars to play as such. I think J.P. Crawford is one that I would really love to see get going over the next couple of weeks, especially because, there's a lot of pressure for JP this season. It could be your last year in Seattle, and if you want to play for your next contract, wherever that may be, if it's here or if it's elsewhere, you got to be doing better than a 178 batting average right now. The on base is right kind of in line with where he normally is at. Mm-hmm. The walks are fine, low strikeout totals, but you got to be hitting the ball. You got to be doing damage a little bit more than what he's done so far. And if you want to keep your job as the everyday shortstop, you got to get that batting average up to a much more respectable level. So just getting star-level play out of your stars, and I think the Mariners should be fine if they are able to do so.
What about out of not your stars? And that's not meant to be an insult to any of these guys, but we were talking so much about Luke Raley to start the year and so much about Dom and obviously Cole Young, who's continued to be fantastic. His defense especially is just amazing. Is there anyone not named Cal, Naylor, Julio that you're just like, come on, man? I'm rooting for you here to have a big series because, eventually the full extent of the lineup is going to be something that sends this team to a World Series.
I mean, Luke has been the guy of the non-stars to kind of hold it down to start the season. Without the start that Luke has had to the season, then, we don't know. Is he in the lineup today, though? I don't think he is, right?
He is.
He is, starting right field.
Yeah, you've got Crawford, Raleigh, your catcher, Rodriguez, Naylor, Arozarena, Raley, Canzone, DH, Young, Rivas.
All right, so I'm going Luke. Man. Luke, we haven't seen him since the St. Louis series, I believe. It's been a little bit for my guy. Not a little bit, a couple of days, I guess. I'm looking at Luke and saying, can you continue to have those little spurts, all right, little bursts of energy that you get when you play Mario Kart? A little burst, bam, burst of energy.
Get, the star.
The star.
But then there's something else you get just the star makes you fast.
Yeah, so
the mushroom. The mushroom boosts you.
The mushroom.
Are we sure?
Yeah, mushroom.
Are we really asking?
Are you sure you get the mushroom and you go faster?
Yeah, this is Matt Nelson you're talking.
I know, but Matt, I'm pretty sure that just the star makes you faster.
Stacy, I will never correct you about sports. You never correct me about video games. I think that's a fair compromise.
I don't know, Matt. I have no memory of a mushroom making you faster in Mario Kart. We're talking like Mario Kart 64, not whatever newfangled hoopla, young people are playing now.
It's a mushroom.
It's a mushroom.
I don't know that it's a mushroom.
Yeah, so get the star, get the mushroom. Just continue to give those little bursts of energy that you bring to this team because, last year it was Polanco. He had the star for days. Polanco was just going. I'm not asking that of Luke, but his little jolts of energy definitely help.
Matt, I think the mushroom makes you bigger and that you think that they're driving faster.
In the mainline game of Mario, yes, the mushroom makes you bigger.
So
in Mario Kart, it's a boost. And I know that you're just doing this to vex me.
I'm
and
not.
We're late for the break.
I'm not. No, we're not. No, we're not.
You got them rattled, Stacy.
Oh, no, we're not.
You got them rattled.
Oh, crap. There's still a minute of this.
The whole text line is letting me know that I'm wrong. So I guess I'm not just doing it to be a contrarian. I just truly, in my memory, I have no recollection whatsoever of a mushroom in Mario Kart.
You do most things to be a contrarian.
I don't. I swear to God, my memory is the star was the best thing you could possibly get. And then the lightning bolt, which was also fun because it made everyone else shrink. Anyways, not before we make our picks. Not before we make our picks for first home run. Did I choose Raleigh yesterday? I think I did. Yay me, I won. Now who gets the first home run for the Mariners today? Do I go Raleigh again? I got to spice it up. I'm going to go Julio.
Spicing it up.
Bump and Curtis.
I'm going to Italy.
Dom DH today. Curtis.
We're going to go to Randy Land.
Oh, I would love for Randy to get a homer today. He's another one of those guys that was on a heater to start the season. Cooled a little bit, but he was just fantastic. All right, so again, your lineup today, Crawford leading off, Raleigh, catcher, Rodriguez, Naylor, Rosarena, Raley, and Wright, Canzone, your DH, Young, Rivas, Logan Gilbert on the mound. You're going to have a pregame show starting at 3:30 p.m. on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. First pitch at 4:40 p.m. Coming up next, we got a lot of questions about what change looks like for Luis Castillo, who certainly needs it, but what does it actually mean for your starter? Ryan Rowland-Smith joins us next.
Cal stays on his heater with another bomb.
That is destroyed. Cal Raleigh, a massive homer.
But the Twins nab the opener, ending the Mariners' 4-game win streak. Tonight, Logan Gilbert's on the mound for the M's, looking to get a new streak going.
A vicious splitter. Logan Gilbert lets out a yell.
Mariners Twins, 4:40 first pitch, 3:30 pregame. Listen free wherever you are. Only on one place, the Seattle Sports app.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? Hey, Brock Heward here, and working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years. And you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months, plus mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here. So go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info.
Are you interested in investing in real estate in the greater Seattle market, but don't want to manage properties, develop real estate, or sign on debt? Hi, it's Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital, based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 15 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Find out why over 800 local investors have invested over $200 million in our Legacy family of funds. Legacy Northwest Fund returned over 12% in both 2007 and 2008. Are you looking at diversification opportunities, especially with what's happening in the market this year? Get in touch with us today. Legacy's family of funds has a limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or legacyg.com. That's legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investment performance based on average return of LOF1, LOF2, and LSF from 2007 through the date of calculation and after deduction of fees and expenses. Legacy family of funds investments are available to accredited investors only.
Hello, Seattle. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America and a member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Drew Brees here. Whether you're on the field or on the road, having the right team on your side makes all the difference. I learned that the hard way. On the field, you don't go anywhere without a solid O-line. And when your car breaks down, you want that same kind of protection. That's why I trust CarShield. Their protection plans help you tackle expensive repairs so that you're not blindsided.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Back to the dugout on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Matt, I Googled, you were right. I'm very sorry.
Wow. She admitted.
Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Ryan, how's it going?
Doing well. What's going on?
Nothing.
What's Matt upset about?
No, I was trying to tell Matt something about a video game, and he was wrong, but then I Googled it, and he was right.
So are you a big gamer, Stacey?
Absolutely not. No, that's why I couldn't quite remember. I probably haven't played this game in I don't know how many years. But anyways.
Gotcha.
Okay. We started Bump Stacy, our show, earlier at 10 by talking about Luis Castillo, Ryan. And we kind of settled on, okay, there are kind of like 4 paths that you could take for Luis for right now. Send him to the bullpen or trade him, which are 2 of the most popular questions we get. Or you could go IL stint, or you could just kind of wait it out. I wanted to ask you about that 4th one when it comes to kind of waiting it out. Dan kind of hinted at like, oh, there's some things we could work on. I wanted to ask, like, what does that look like for Luis? Like, what are we working on here? Like, is it really feasible for a guy to change his approach? Here we are on April 28th.
Yeah, and you mentioned the fact it is April 28th, and I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, it's early, you'll be fine. But you got to factor this in. As this season gets going, and then you get into the thick of the season in regards to July, August, and then getting deeper and deeper into the dog days. Call them the dog days, right? And you've got, I know Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian Wither, they've all been here before, but nothing like Luis Castillo in regards to April through September and having consistency. So you got to look at it like this. You got to sort of map this out. Yes, Bryce Miller is coming back, and that's why it's quick to sort of press the button on all right, move into the bullpen or do trade or whatever everyone's saying. However, you have to sort of map this out and say a couple things. Number one, you don't want to rush Bryce Miller back. They tried that, and he tried that last year. Did not go well. He pretty much had to salvage his season at the end of the year. You have to slow play him a little bit. In that time, you don't want to put this emphasis on Luis Castillo. Oh, hey, by the way, you're about to lose your rotation spot, because you are going to need him. And I join you guys every Thursday at mid morning at what's the time? Is 10 or 11 a.m. 11 a.m. That's right. And I guarantee you, we'll come back and say, hey, remember we were talking about Luis Castillo, like trading him or getting rid of him at the end of April? And he'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah. I say that because, look, this guy has a track record of getting in these little stints of not having success. He did this last year too. He did this last year at the end of the year too, by the way. And then he figures things out and he's just fine. So I think at this point right now, you still have this window where you have 5 starters and that's it. Bryce Miller, you're not going to cut down his program right now, what he's doing coming back. And everyone's like, well, it's just an oblique. He's not coming back from TJ. It doesn't matter, because you need all of this pitching because of performance, because of injuries down the line. And you don't want to have a situation where, all right, now we're going to move Luis Castillo in 2 weeks to the bullpen. Let's say he struggles 2 more times after this. What are you going to do? Put him in the bullpen and then kind of have him hanging out there? I think the logical thing to do, hypothetically, when Bryce is ready to come back and Emerson's still pitching well, and let's say Luis, it still looks the same, then the logical thing to do is mix and match, figure this out, give him a start off, or have a stint where he gets skipped or whatever it may be, and try and figure this out. I'm saying all that because he is going to be a factor. When I talk to you guys on a Thursday, come late July, early August, he is going to be a difference maker in this rotation.
Yeah, my thing with Castillo was the mental, right? I was thinking about how could you make an adjustment without messing up his mind? Because you know how this thing goes, man. Your team starts doubting you, start questioning yourself. Where do you think he is mentally right now?
Well, everyone talks about the stuff. Now, look, last night, the velocity was down. If you guys were here in person, I mean, if you were able to maintain velocity in that game last night, you're a stud. I'm telling you right now. Like, it was so miserable, and I'm not making excuses. Look, Luis Castillo would be the last to tell you, oh, yeah, it's because of the weather, right? He would never say that. I'm saying that because I've been out there trying to maintain my subpar velocity in bad weather. It's very difficult, man. That mound gets wet, so you don't have that. It's called lead leg blocking, right? That lead foot, that stomp, and all that ground force coming up the chain. You lose all that. And at the end of it, you lose velocity. So everyone's like, oh, his velocity's down. It's actually not. His velocity's been the same as what it was in 2024 and 2025. Last night, yes, it was down. Prelip, the kid on the other side, who's an uber prospect for the Twins, velocity was down. Physically, I think he's okay. He's lost some depth on that changeup. I think that's, if you're going to go and try and fix something, I think they need to take a deep dive and figure out what it is with that release point. Where is he letting go of that changeup? How can we figure out this pitch? And it's not from a physical standpoint. Now, Bump, you touched on something on the mental side of this. Now, we saw this last year at the end of the year too. When he starts to get away from contact, he's got that, that deer in headlights look on his face. When things are not going well, we have a problem. When he can get back to that place where he's got that good tempo and he's bouncing off the mound, he's got that recoil in his arm, he's got that presence about him, which what we saw when he first came over, and he's had plenty of that last year too, he's in a good spot. So I think mentally from him, not because he's like, oh, I'm worried about losing my spot in the rotation. I'm sure he's probably read some of that or is thinking, oh, Bryce has come back, what are they going to do with me and everything else? But I just think with him personally, he has to find something in the first 20 to 30 pitches of the game where he's getting enough in-zone swing and miss because he's filling up the strike zone a ton, one of the highest first-pitch strike rates in the game, and he's elevating that hitter as well. What can I do psychologically to get me feeling good about just ripping this four-seam at the top of the strike zone, bouncing off the mound, getting some swing and miss, weak contact, and feeling good about it early in the game? Because the first 20 to 25 pitches can tell you a ton about what we're going to see from Luis Castillo. And sometimes he gets out and he's like, oh, man, it's kind of that, here we go again. I don't quite have that hitter, or I'm not getting that swing and miss like I'm used to getting. So mentally there's something going on there with him too. But look, like I said, man, a couple of years ago he went through this. Last year he went through this when we were towards the end of August even. He was going through a stint where he couldn't get anyone out on the road. So he's going to be okay. I just think, I think mentally more so, it's a big one.
All right, let's take like kind of a microscopic lens look ahead here. We won't be seeing Luis for the rest of this series, so let's just talk about games 2 and 3. Ryan, what in particular will you be watching for?
Well, first of all, the weather's good. And again, I don't want people texting saying, oh, he's making excuses. I'm telling you, man, you had to be here to know how miserable it was last night. Logan, looking for a bounce back from him. I think I'm hoping, this is what I'm looking for tonight. I'm hoping that he gets to that bread and butter of here's a four-seam at the top of the strike zone and here's a split. A ton of lefties in that Twins lineup. Unleash that split. I know he's going back and forth with that split and that changeup, trying to figure it out. I just want to see him get back to that place where I don't care how many pitches I'm throwing per at-bat, and I'm just getting a swing and miss and feel really good about it. That's going to be important. He's coming off a 4-inning outing. And again, too, look, offensively, they're in a good spot. They're in a really good spot. They got a tough matchup against Joe Ryan today. Last night was really tough. Prelip, a kid you've never seen before, and he just silenced the Mariners in those conditions with a guy they got no video on because he's thrown one game. With Joe Ryan, you can prep a little easier against, have a bit more of a game plan. So offensively, I think they're all good. But I think Logan, man, come out and reestablish yourself as being the staff ace tonight.
Throughout the season, Dan hasn't had the best of luck when it comes to pinch hitting as of late. It's been working out. What do you think of his decision making? Is he sticking too much to the book, or do you feel like he's doing the right thing?
Well, I think really good point with him. All right, so going back to, I'm just trying to think, pre-athletic series, you're looking at this going, okay, you've got the middle of your lineup not doing great things. You don't want to do the left on left, even though Raley was crushing the ball. What options do you have off the bench? You got a guy who's 0 for 18 in Ref Snyder, and then you got also Connor Joe coming off the bench. So what do you do? And you're playing by the book, right? You want to play those matchups because you got that tough lefty at bat, number 3 or 4. Man, I'm telling you right now, a couple things really help when the bulk of your lineup, the guys you are not going to take out of the game, are having these longer, better at-bats, grinding out these at-bats. And then you get to a place where, all right, now I need to pinch hit. And then you've got Connor Joe who comes through and hits that ball off O'Brien, who's nasty up right center field in St. Louis. That makes all the difference. These guys, regardless of the decisions, if Dan Wilson, for example, in regards to some of the decisions he's made in pinch hitting guys, if he didn't go to his bench, you'd be questioning him, hey, why are we going left on left? Raley's not going to get that lefty. You kind of have to. However, the options he's going to, you're looking at that going, man, like, they're not doing a whole lot. Now, Ref Snyder's starting to hit the ball well. Obviously, just the home runs, but even the at-bats look so much better. Connor Joe's starting to take a breath, settle in a little bit. It makes a huge difference. So you can't just have these teams just deploy 3 lefties on you at bat number 3 and at bat number 4.
He is Mariners broadcaster Ryan Rowland-Smith, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
All right, still to come, Alex Mayer. Credit to him because he totally called this. That's next.
You can stream every pitch of every inning of every game all season long. Oh, and it's completely free.
It's a tremendous catch.
Only on the Seattle Sports app. That's right. The free Seattle Sports app puts every single Mariners game right in the palm of your hand.
On a platter, come and get it.
One app, every game. Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
Holy smokes, what a play.
Pretty awesome, right? Just like the Mariners.
Hey, homeowners, are you stuck on the credit card treadmill and stressed because your consumer debt and monthly payments are too high? Well, Brock Hewitt here with a smart solution. Your home's equity in the Seattle Metro is probably larger than ever. It's like you're sitting on a stack of cash. Consider a cash-out refinance with Tila Mortgage to consolidate your high-balance credit cards, second mortgages, home equity lines of credit, and student loans, or get cash for a remodel. With interest rates finally coming down, consolidating your debt now may be the best decision you ever make. With excellent client reviews and trusted in Washington for over 25 years, Tila has competitive rates on refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgages too. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call Tila Mortgage today, 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
This baseball season, Home Comfort Alliance is changing the game. John Curley here. Get the price of a new heating and AC system in just 60 seconds on your phone with no pressure, no waiting. Just a few questions and you get a winning personalized price. That's a home run. And if your system is over 12 years old, it could be costing you up to 20% more or could soon fail. Score a personalized price for a new system in 60 seconds at HomeComfortAlliance.com. Call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance.
If you've gained 20, 30, or even 40 or more pounds over the past few years and nothing seems to work anymore, listen up. I'm Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and our completely medication-free program has helped thousands in Washington lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. No drugs, no weekly shots, no muscle loss, no side effects, no forever monthly costs, just food, but the right type, in the right amount at the right time. All part of a detailed plan with expert coaching every step of the way that helps you reset your metabolism and burn fat. Schedule your free phone consult at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Yeah, Mike Salk here, and Dr. Coogan is right. I can attest to losing 35 pounds with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It works. It's safer, less expensive than alternatives with no injections or pills and no scary side effects. Schedule a free consult and find out for yourself.
Over 4,000 people have lost 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. Come to our clinic in Kirkland or do our program from anywhere you live with our remote options. Schedule your free phone consult online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
What a performance by the big unit. Mariners fans, don't miss your chance to witness history on Saturday, May 2nd, when the Mariners celebrate Randy Johnson number retirement ceremony night. Presented by T-Mobile. The special pregame event will immortalize Randy's 51 while recounting the big unit's biggest moments, like throwing the franchise's first no-hitter and winning the team's first Cy Young Award. Randy looks to the skies. Get your tickets today at mariners.com/big unit.
Dave Wyman here to talk about a revolutionary treatment for prostate cancer at Swedish called CyberKnife. I want to bring in Dr. Meyer, medical director of the Swedish Radiosurgery Center with the most experienced prostate cancer treatment team in the Northwest. Dr. Meyer, is CyberKnife a new treatment?
You know, the CyberKnife technology is not new. The system has been around for more than a decade and has helped thousands of men with prostate cancer.
What can patients expect from CyberKnife treatment?
Well, the CyberKnife system is designed to help you gain control over your prostate cancer in the shortest number of treatments and with the least impact on your romantic life and on your urinary and bowel function. The result? Well, you get back to a normal, healthy life faster.
To learn more about CyberKnife for prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate or give them a call, 206-320-7187. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
CyberKnife is a registered trademark of Accuray Incorporated and is used with permission.
Back to the dugout on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Alex Mayer from M-Stats and Info joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Alex, we have you on every week for the dugout, but the last two times we've asked you specifically about Cal, and I think it was a week ago or maybe the Tuesday before last where I said, hey, people are getting a little worried even though it's still very early. Tell me something encouraging you're seeing. And you said, well, Cal Raleigh's fly ball rate is still where it was last year, which is really encouraging. I'm expecting these home runs to come in bunches. Lo and behold, what is it? 5 home runs over 7 games, or is it the opposite? I don't. It's an insane run for Cal after starting the season so slowly. Tell us what you've seen and what numbers to you kind of fell into place and made sense for this run.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you opened with that. First of all, he's gotten his timing back. I think that's the main thing. We talked about it at length, I think, at the beginning of the season, but you know, we can say now, I think, that the World Baseball Classic probably played a part in the timing and, you know, the lack thereof it at the beginning of the season. But he's got his timing back. He's barreling up balls like he was last year. He ranks in the 84th percentile in barrel rate, expected slugging based on quality of contact, 81st percentile. And his bat speed's still elite, just like it was when he was, you know, popping it up more and hitting fly balls that didn't leave the park. So there is absolutely nothing of concern to Cal's game, and I expect him to keep hitting those home runs in bunches. So, yeah, I mean, he's been the best player on offense so far the last week or so, and I expect that to continue.
Alex, my question has nothing to do with the Mariners. It's just a story that I've been following. I think it's kind of fun, and I'm sure you've looked at this guy once or twice. Tell me about Munetaka Murakami. It's
yeah.
I saw an interview with him, and they said, all right, what makes you so great? And he just said, power. That's it, power.
He's been full of one-liners since he got to Chicago. Yeah, he's been super impressive. I think he's got 12 home runs, which lead the big leagues. He's only played 30 or so games. It's really exciting anytime you have an international sensation come over here and do well. I think, you know, in the NBA or the NFL to an extent, a guy shines right away. They're usually there to stay. I think baseball is such a game of adjustments. Once the pitchers kind of have the scouting report on this guy, you know, it might swing back to him, you know, regression toward the mean, almost like toward league average. But then the great ones kind of find a way to counteract the scouting reports that they have on him. So I think while his start's been really good, it seems like the pendulum always swings, and, you know, pitching is going to figure him out. And then we'll see if he figures out the pitching in turn.
You mentioned Cal looking like the best player on offense for the last 7 days or so. Tell me what else you're seeing on Seattle's offense right now. What's standing out to you?
Yeah, I think one of the main storylines for his all-around game is Cole Young. He's been really good defensively. He leads the big leagues with 10 defensive runs saved. So he's been literally the best defender by some metrics. And he's also hit his OPS plus right now, WRC plus, whatever you prefer, hovering in the 110 range. So he's been about 10% better than league average. His wins above replacement is 1.6, and that's a boatload only 30 games into the season. He's second among Major League second basemen to Nico Horner on the Cubs. So we've seen a really good all-around game from Cole Young, and I think, you know, he's still just 22 years old, won't be 23 till July 29th. So he's been really impressive. I think, you know, we saw before Brendan Donovan went on the injured list, which we don't expect that to be super lengthy by any stretch, but he was really good. And then I think some of the platoon bats are starting to come around. Obviously, you know, people didn't love seeing Rob Refsnyder in the lineup against lefties the last couple games because he got off to that slow start, but you've seen what he can do. He won us a game the other day in St. Louis, and I expect more of that. Connor Joe stepped in nicely too. And then shout out to Will Wilson, who kind of came out of nowhere to hit his first major league home run in his first at bat the other day.
Kind of looking ahead this Saturday, Randy Johnson is getting his jersey retired. What is your favorite moment? I was I saw that this day was coming, so I went back and looked up some random Randy stuff. I didn't realize my man was 40 years old when he pitched a perfect game. I can't even sprint across the street right now.
Don't sell yourself for it.
And he pitched a perfect game. What's one of your favorite moments?
Yeah, I think you're being humble there, Bump.
Yeah, I think you could run across the street.
Really excited about this weekend. We put up Randy's 51 by Junior, Edgar, and Ichiro, and then, of course, Jackie Robinson out there in left center field. But really exciting. My favorite Randy moment, I think it's probably when he got that hit down the right field line and then he tried to stretch it into a double and then slipped between first and second. That's my favorite, like, goofy Randy moment. But just in totality, I think, like, I don't know if people realize that he's one of the best pitchers of all time, probably one of the top 4 or 5 living baseball players. I mean, I went and looked the other day, and I just by wins above replacement, he is the 5th best player by WAR still living. And the only guys above him, of course, there's a Mariner above him. A-Rod is ahead of him, Pujols, Bonds, and then Clemens. So, I mean, that just captures how amazing of a pitcher he was. Obviously, his tie into the Mariners, that's where he started. It's where he won his first Cy Young Award. Led the league in strikeouts for the Mariners 4 years in a row from 92 to 95 and helped save baseball in Seattle as part of that 95 team. Also led the league in ERA that year. So obviously he's also known for his work with the Diamondbacks when he was the best pitcher in the world by far and won 4 straight Cy Young. So, and then he won the 300th game, I believe, when he was in San Francisco in 2009. So he's really one of the best living baseball players and one of the best pitchers of all time. And it's going to be really cool to get to honor him.
As a reminder, the Randy Johnson number retirement ceremony is going to be May 2nd. And I cannot believe that May 2nd is almost here.
This Saturday.
I know. My last question for you, I wanted to get back to your comments about Cole Young's defense. Prompted this question, though it's not maybe necessarily about Cole Young, but I remember having a conversation with you. This was last season. I think maybe we were talking about Julio. Like, Julio made some play, and you were talking about defensive stats, and you were like, I feel like for all the numbers and analytics that are in baseball, sometimes we still don't know how to measure a great defense. Is there a player on this team where you feel like, I feel like the stats aren't doing justice to what he brings?
That's a really good one. First of all, I think defensive stats, it's really difficult to measure, and it's why I think the eye test or, whatever you want to call it, it's just watching the games. It's still so important because you look at the 2 most mainstream defensive advanced metrics now, defensive runs saved and outs above average, and they will directly contradict each other fairly regularly. But back to your original question, I would say J.P. Crawford the last few years. I think outs above average hasn't been so kind to him. They grade him as like, oh, he doesn't go to the left well, or he doesn't go to the right, or, behind him as well as he used to. But I've seen the guy play, however many 100 games at shortstop for the Mariners, and I would take JP as my shortstop over a lot of guys out there with seemingly higher metrics or whatever you want to call them.
We had a comment from a texter say,
yes.
Talking about Julio
before you even know,
and how eventually they're going to move him from center field because his athleticism does not match his instincts. I chuckled at that. What are your thoughts on Julio and his center field play?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I think the work that Julio put in from the age of like 18 or 19 when he was in the minor leagues, he was not a good defensive outfielder by any stretch, according to those who watched him all the time. And he's turned himself into a Gold Glove finalist outfielder, and I think his first Gold Glove in center field is going to come sooner rather than later. So, in my opinion, metrics, eye tests, he passes all of them. Is he going to make every single play? No, but he'll make the extraordinary and make most of the regular plays. So I think Julio's here to stay in center field, and until someone comes along and supplants him there, thank goodness he's under contract for several more years, and we're so lucky to have Julio. Offensively, defensively, as a person, we are very blessed to have him. So I don't think he's going anywhere other than center field.
Kate in West Seattle texts in and says, yay, Alex Marino's stats are so great. They are. They are indeed so great. You can find more from Alex, especially those hashtag the Mayor game winning stats, GWS, which I hope that we have another tonight and tomorrow at Alex Mayer 34. He joins us every single Tuesday for the Dugout. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, guys.
This has been The Dugout. Thank you again, not just to Alex, but to Ryan Rowland-Smith and Shannon Drayer for joining us to kick this thing off. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
Seattle sports like
JSN
powering through a secondary.
breaks a tackle. He's going to go in.
You can't keep us down.
There was a fire alarm.
I'll die for this job. Fire alarm going off. We still in here.
20 minutes later.
We're back in action. I made sure everyone got safely out of the building.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Definitely.
Big thanks to the men and women of the Seattle Fire Department for the quick response. But come on, Wyman, easy on the scented candles next time.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? Hey, Brock Heward here, and working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years. And you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months. Plus, mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here. So go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
After years of football and the injuries that go with it, my first thought was always go get surgery. Hey, it's Dave Wyman, but after a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, my eyes were open to an alternative to surgery, and I'm talking about stem cell therapy. Well, and my buddy and co-host Bob Staton, also in pain, and decided to go see Dr. Wagner.
I had a hip issue from 14 years of jiu-jitsu.
How's the pain now?
Everything I did before, I can do just as well. Hitting the heavy bag, sparring, rolling, all of that is back in play. This whole thing has been such a pleasant surprise because I really was of the mindset, I'm going to have to go under the knife. I'm going to have to get surgery. And this really saved me from that. I could not be happier with the results.
Whether it's a hip like Bob had, a shoulder, a knee, a wrist, an ankle, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine.
Do it. You will not regret it.
Hey, get the facts, hear from all the patients I've talked to, and schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Meet the company electrifying the marine industry. ARC, a fully electric boat that feels like a luxury EV. Significantly less maintenance and service, ARC is built to be as easy to operate as it is to maintain.